Howdy!
I'm Gory Movie.
I'm Danny Knightmare.
We're Horror Addicts. And today we're going to be talking about the most anticipated movies 2019. Year before 2020. The future.
Oh, I thought we were gonna do video games. Mario Maker 2, hell yeah!
What channel do you think? Alright, let's take our chat here real quick. Started. We got Queenie Todd, Magoo, Tony Rosa, the Chupacabra here, girl Ariel, and Ford, who I don't know, but of course, the Horror Zone, our buddy Drake. So yeah, we're gonna talk about a lot of anticipated, a lot of ones that we're excited about, some that are just coming up that are being talked about, and kind of get our opinion. So, I have my letterbox list organized by what is, I think, by what's most average film popularity. Ariel, hi buddy, and ow.
What's up, Ariel? Ooh.
We are drinking dark and not for
Sausage.
Tony. In his honor, they're strong, guys. They're not little. They're called Goslings, not like. All right, so number one, most popular on our list. It's one I have not asked. Class is Curse of Unbreaking. Not considered, but which I would. I've heard. I still.
In fact, I'm almost sad because of how we just saw it. Movie Pass failed us again. Promised us class was good. We were planning on seeing it today, but instead we just stayed home and.
And let us know if you guys can espresso. Because you know the audio thing, I don't care how long you've been streaming, the audio thing.
Besides, did not work in it.
Yeah, you never know. Got Boris the Crow, but Danny thinks Edgar Allan. I can get that one on the.
And you have a.
So you guys in the chat, have you seen Class? Do you recommend? I still most on of the year. I'm a little.
Love Unbreak. But even if it is the other two, almost as.
Let's talk about probably, honestly, definitely in my top. Us, Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele has proved horror movie director out a couple. That is flawless. I have no critique for that. That is a remotely acting, photography, everything that I never. From a new director? What the hell?
All I can say are high. It'd
Really
be
did.
hard to directors that. Anything else after that is maybe good.
Now I have seen a trailer. So from what I know about Us, which has yet to come out, a couple parents go out on vacation and things are oddly lining up. You know, Frisbee lands on a else lines up. They find these doppelgangers of themselves on vacation. And the doppelgangers are not friendly at all. They crawl.
Balls.
Is the live stream cutting out?
Volume. Why we're running a little late today.
Hello? You guys hear us? far as I can go.
I don't know.
Can you guys hear us okay? Let me know.
Tackle Queen.
You guys hear? Not coming from. Oh, that. More thing. Bless you. Okay, I think I've done everything I can with the microphone, so hopefully you guys can hear us okay. And we've got John N here. Grim Blackheart has joined us. Our buddy Zachary. Dave Maggot, just horrible YouTube.
Tackled him right in the door.
But as we were saying about us, yeah, the doppelgangers that this family encounters do not look friendly. They're all in red. I get a little nervous when I see antagonists dressed in color. I start to get Village vibes. I'll tell you, when I saw the Village in the theater, I'm like, it's fucking bullshit. Real monsters don't wear robes. So is this a cult? Is it doppelgangers? I like that I don't know what to expect, really. And I trust Jordan Peele. And I trust that this has some funny moments in it. I trust that it's going to be very, I'm really measured, but excited about it.
Get out, we have white people. Now we got somewhat paranormal doppelganger. I have a feeling that Jordan.
Possibly, I also noticed that they have white friends. Like, if the white people are to blame for this one, I'm going to start to wonder if there's something else going on here.
Dr. Wolf,
I'm just
going to keep his eye on.
I'm just
going
to stop trusting white people in Jordan Peele movies.
Eye on the white.
Ben Grimm's here. Nightmare Files is here. But I do really want to see this. I feel I can. Got some great actor art for it. He knows what he's. It absolutely excited. Are you guys excited for us? For the movie Us. It's so strange when we life hard. And let's talk about another one that has a very difficult title to talk about, which is It Chapter 2. Audio is still going in and out. Ooh. All right. Let us know if you can hear us.
I am thinking.
So Danny Meg's class was a huge letdown. Yeah, I think our mic cord might have some. Try using our webcam. Life is hard. Okay, can you guys hear us now?
Is that better?
It probably doesn't sound great, but it's the webcam mic.
Maybe it won't cut in and out at least.
Okay, so Danny said that we're overthinking it, and it's supposed to be better than Get Out. So, and he also doesn't like Glass. I really like Get Out, so I don't want to set myself up to be disappointed. I'm just looking forward to hopefully being scared and enjoying myself.
It's a good movie. I'd consider it a success. I don't want to compare it to Get Out because that's, like I said, a really high bar, but hopefully it's close.
And welcome John Kyle Stanton and Jafar. Or is it Jafar? Like Aladdin.
Afar.
But yeah, Us looks great. So the next one we're going to talk about is It Chapter 2. So I was a big fan of It Chapter 1. I know it's kind of hit and miss for people. I do love the 1990...
80s kind of nostalgia.
1996 version.
Oh. The
TV version. But I liked this one too. I liked it in a lot of different ways. I don't know if I like it necessarily better, but I do like it. It hasn't held up as much for me with rewatches, but I do still really enjoy it. I think my biggest complaint with the original It was the CGI.
Especially like the hobo and stuff, which that was one of the creepiest scenes in the book. And I was so glad to hear that it was going to be in the movie, but it ended up being the worst scene in the movie. So
that scene was creepy enough with just especially what he says in the book, what he's saying.
Yeah. That
we didn't need them to go crazy with the CGI.
Just a little prosthetics and they would have been fine.
Yeah. But I liked the kids. I don't think the kids had the same kind of chemistry that the kids in the original TV movie did. Those kids had really great chemistry.
But they were allowed to, in a sense, be more like what Stephen King writes as children and anybody, because they always have filthy mouths in Stephen King books. But in the TV movie, they were very censored. Richie didn't get to really say anything funny. It's not that Seth Green didn't do a great job being Richie. It's just that nothing he said was...
And so in a lot of ways, I think it is better. And I like that Bill Skarsgård did a completely different take on Pennywise.
Yeah.
And I think his take is really scary.
I wouldn't say better, but I'd say it's a good difference.
I think it's a good difference. I like that he did his own thing because there's only one Tim Curry.
Yeah.
So if you're going to try and be Tim Curry, you will fail because only Tim Curry can do him. But I like that he's going with a more bestial type take on it, and I like that he's making it his own.
Like most people would agree that Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson did great Jokers, but they also say they're very different Jokers.
Yeah.
Those are usually pretty high on people's lists of which ones they like. I would say for Pennywise, that's kind of what they did. They had different takes. They both did great. Which one your favorite is just how you prefer it. But...
So what do you think about It Chapter 2? So they've cast, I do know that the kids from the original one are supposed to be back in flashbacks.
Yeah, that's good.
And they have cast the adults. Now I really love the casting of Jessica Chastain, who you might remember from Mama. I believe she was also, I think she was in Cloverfield Paradox. She's been in a lot of movies. But she's really talented. Jessica Chastain, I think she looks like the younger version. I thought that was good casting. Let's take a look at some of the other ones here just to make sure I got it all right.
Tony says, as long as Skarsgård says, "Kiss me, fat boy," in the sequel.
I don't know. That'd be interesting. I do know there was talk of him, because originally there was a scene where I guess he ate a baby. And they're having talks about bringing that in. They're also talking about bringing in the ritual of Chud. Yeah. That gets way more into the origin of Pennywise. That gets more into, this idea of him as this like interdimensional demon and his connection to the turtle. But I know the director is really into the Order of Chud or the Ritual of Chud and a lot of that mythology.
They didn't have the budget in the first chapter to really include some of that stuff. But the first movie did so well that they probably have a bigger budget with this chapter too. He wants to include it. Because in the book, that's kind of how Bill fights Pennywise. It's a more mind trip battle where they're not even in their bodies fighting. They're flying through the planes of the cosmos. And they didn't actually just, start beating him up with crowbars and bats like they do in the movie.
And to Danny Mag in the chat, everything about movies is opinion-based. It's entertainment. So, yeah, if you like a particular Joker better than the other one, you're not wrong. It's just the way it is. If your opinion differs than us, that's great. But... these are our opinions, and if you don't like them, well, you don't have to watch the show.
We just hope you like horror movies.
Yeah, if you like horror movies, that's awesome, and we respect your opinion, so hopefully you can respect ours.
Yep. Anyways, I'm looking forward to it. I just hope the CGI is either less or better.
Another reason I think Jessica Chastain is in this one, I've noticed with this director that he brings back a lot of the same people. He did Mama. I saw the older daughter in that one. She was the pharmacist daughter in chapter 1.
Yeah.
And Jessica Chastain was in Mama too. So I think it makes sense that he want to work with her again. We also have James McAvoy, who's really talented. He was in Split. He was in Glass, of course. But James McAvoy is fantastic. I've really enjoyed his work. I mean, pretty much his whole career. He never really disappoints. I believe he's going to be he's going to be Bill. He's adult Bill. So he's got to do better than the guy in the original. I can't remember the guy, but the guy from the Waltons I wasn't crazy about.
I wonder if Bill... Yeah, I could see him as Bill, I guess.
We also have, Jay Ryan as Ben. I'm not familiar with that actor. I know who Bill Hader is, and he's going to be Richie.
Yeah.
Maybe not the choice I would have gone with, but he is a really funny actor, and I'm curious to see what he does with it. Do I know anybody else here that I want to talk about? Of course, Bill Skarsgård's coming back.
Kids will be back. That's good.
And the kids are on there.
Because that was the problem with the TV movie for me, is when you get to chapter 2 and it's all mostly the adults, I didn't care too much for the adult stuff in the TV movie. I'm hoping that will not be the case here, but I'm kind of afraid it might be, so we'll see.
Want to give a quick shout out to Brandon Meacham, who's here, and Maharet Madsen. So thank you.
A former fellow wrestler as well.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. And great. She has great kid names.
Yeah.
So it's exciting that she's here. So yeah, it chapter 2, and for me in the original TV movie, the adult portion, even in the book, the adult portion was not as entertaining as the kid portion in the first half.
No. The kids had great chemistry too. The adults, once again though, a lot of it's to the writing. Why does he have to be so mean? It was a little too cheesy. But...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just it wasn't as entertaining. Why am I stuttering so much? It wasn't as entertaining for me, even in the book. The kids, I was really involved, and I felt very present what was going on with the kids, which is funny because that's actually in flashback. Past, yeah. And the stuff with the adults, it was really hard to get engaged in. I'm really hoping that because they are doing some different things, and I know they're going to incorporate some things from the book that were not incorporated in the original movie. And especially with Bill Skarsgård doing his own take on Pennywise. I mean, like, Drake said in the chat, Tim Curry does a fantastic job.
Tim Curry is my favorite Pennywise.
I feel like his Pennywise was more effective with the kids because he makes more sense in that he's intended to draw children to him. And he looks like a typical circus clown. He was not as effective with the adults. He was mocking them a bit, but I couldn't see how an adult would be afraid of him. Now, this Pennywise might actually really shine in this movie because I don't care how old you are. He's scary. He's really scary. I don't see how he can lure children to him because anybody would be insane to approach that clown. But as an adult, yeah, I'd still be terrified.
Well, also when he was going after adults, it's with Rottweiler head and, bad Chinese food. So it wasn't a whole lot of great stuff in there for the adults. And then they have a cool Black Widow in the book. However, in the movie, it looked like the monster that they fight on Coneheads. It was like a weird space spider that looked really silly. So that's another problem that it had. Plus, the silver didn't make sense for the spider. The silver only worked on the werewolf because when you believe with your imagination, that makes that thing have that weakness. So,
and that's something I think they can really exploit in this next movie because children have that power of imagination, and what the children believe is effective against Pennywise. I think the adults are lacking because adults, we lose that as we get older. We lose our faith in so much, including our faith in, our own abilities.
That's actually one of the main points of the whole book.
Absolutely. And I don't feel like the original movie that we got on TV really illustrated that, and so I think there's a lot of room for this to be really, really good.
Yeah, it might fall flat though, but I'm hoping it don't. It could really be awesome. We'll see. I don't
know. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about. I'm going to add a moderator. The next one we're going to talk about is New Mutants. Now, I'm already nervous about this one because
this is battery acid, you slime. Yep. I liked that part where Tim Curry's face is kind of melting. But New Mutants with studios doing this. It's an X-Men universe, right? It's gonna be kind of a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sony or is it Fox?
I don't know.
Take a quick look.
I think it's Fox.
New Mutants. Josh Boone's gonna direct it.
I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen some trailers for it. I can't remember which company's doing it. Xavier's School, so it's probably Fox because they have the rights to those mutants. In fact, actually, they have the rights to the word mutant. So yeah, it's definitely Fox. Well, that's the thing. A lot of the X-Men movies are shit. Some of them are really good though. Wolverine going rated R was a really good idea. Deadpool, of course, I love both of those two Deadpool movies. So maybe a horror mutant movie could be good. Because I think so far that they've done good with the rated R X-Men stuff in Fox.
And this is based on a comic that was intended to be more horror. And
Oh, yeah.
there are a lot of X-Men horror comics. So I think it's time that we had an X-Men horror movie. The only thing I get nervous about is when a movie is pushed back, it tends to mean there's a problem with it.
Yeah.
In some cases, it's turned out okay, but typically when a movie's pushed back is because the studio isn't confident in their product. They don't think people are going to want to see it. This movie was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah.
And it's been pushed way back. They didn't even put it into January, which is what tends to happen. Like, let's just put it to the beginning of the year. It keeps getting pushed back, which means that there are, at least as far as the studio is concerned, there are problems with this movie. Or it's fine and the studio's meddling too much and they just needed to leave it alone.
Either way, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, either way, it's not a good sign. And so I am really nervous about that. I do think the cast looks good. I thought the trailer that we saw last year looked good. But I will definitely see this. I have my reservations, though, because, like I said, it being pushed back is not a good sign.
I don't have high hopes, but I'll definitely check it out. So.
I also feel like with the Marvel universe right now, everything in that universe is really, big. It's really popular. And with anything that's that popular, you're going to get some duds. And I wonder, is this a cash grab? Is this trying to bring, the horror crowd in? I don't know. Or is this,
is that also
be good?
Is that also maybe why that it is getting pushed back? Maybe since Disney's kind of buying out Fox, they wanted to change things.
Maybe they don't have faith in a horror mutant movie.
Maybe it's because the whole Disney-Fox relationship. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, I like Anya Taylor-Joy. You got the guy from Stranger Things. I really hope this is good.
Let's see.
But I have my reservations. I'm not going to go in there with high expectations because, when your expectations are high, you're so much more likely to be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I hope it's good. It may not even be one I see in the theater, but I do want to see it. I want it to be good. Hope it's good.
I mean, I don't know. It's going to be hard to top that Generation X movie that came out on TV a long time ago.
Let's talk about Let's talk about Happy Death Day to You.
Happy Death Day to You. So at the very end of the first movie, she did finally wake up the next day. And then she explained everything, and it was like Groundhog's Day. You've never seen it? But apparently now, somehow, she's traveled back in time, and she's starting that day over again, even though she did move on to the next.
From what I gathered from the trailer, it's like different people were dying or something, and so she's got to redo it again. I don't know. It looked really complicated, and from what I've been hearing from reviews, I haven't watched too many because I don't want spoilers, and I have yet to see this movie. Neither of us have seen it. But from what I understand, a lot of people are saying this is more of a sci-fi romantic comedy, not so much a horror movie.
Huh. Well, I wonder, does it have a slash? Well, the poster has the baby slasher,
From
so
what
he's back. So.
But yeah, it's just the baby is still just a character from the past. It's not changing anything. It's not actively killing anybody. I guess the antagonist here is this thing that's making her repeat the day.
Okay.
So I've also heard it's still really fun. So it may not be a horror movie, but I hear it is good. It is fun. I think their marketing's bad because the marketing, as far as the poster and everything, to me looks like a horror movie.
It's a sequel to a horror movie, like a comedy horror, but still. I don't know. I didn't really have any expectations going into the first one, and I ended up liking it. So. And
Ben Grimm in the chat is saying Happy Death Day to You is more sci-fi, very little horror in it, and same thing with Dave Maggot. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting a lot of horror. Okay. I'm still gonna see it because I love that first one. That's one I watch all the time. it's just a great one to pop in when you just want to unwind.
Yeah.
So since that one's already out, I don't want to go into it too much, but I do want to talk about Godzilla.
Oh, Godzilla, a big one. This might be one of the most anticipated movies for me. It's gonna have Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah.
I'm having a massive monster boner for this movie.
And the problem with the first movie is I felt it marketed it wrong to me because it gave me a completely different movie than I expected. And it didn't hardly give me any Godzilla. If they can, up how much Godzilla they give me, then I'll be happy.
What I really want from these movies is I want the monsters to be center stage.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you need to have human actors in it or it just becomes a CGI fest, but I want the monsters to be center stage. I want to see Mothra. I want to see Rodan. I want to see Ghidorah?
King Ghidorah?
Ghidorah?
I've heard it pronounced both. I don't know which one is exactly.
All right, I want to see lots of monsters. And I definitely want to see Godzilla. I wonder if this is going to tie into the King Kong movie they've established. I like Millie Bobby Brown. She's going to be in it. We got Vera Farmiga. We got Kyle Chandler, who was on that early edition show back in the day.
There was an anime trilogy.
Ghidorah? Well, I don't know.
There was an anime trilogy of Godzilla. 2 of them came out last year. The third one just came out at the beginning of this year. I was not really... The second one was okay, but the one that came out this year, I hated it. It had King Ghidorah in it, but it was a really weird version of King Ghidorah, and I hated it.
And I think what's exciting about this one is because for me, this is an event. This is a movie I don't want to miss in the theater. It's going to be a big spectacle. I really want it to look Ghidorah. Ghidorah.
Yeah, Ghidorah.
It's one of those. He's Sunny.
It's Ghidorah.
And Crispy Chicken Sandwich, that's got to be my favorite name now.
Oh. Hello, Crispy Chicken Sandwich.
Hello, Crispy Chicken Sandwich.
Shit, I might have to go on a fast food run after this.
Oh, that sounds really good, doesn't it?
Do you deliver?
Yeah, I want to see this, I want to see this in the big screen. I'm really looking forward to this just being a fun event. I expect nothing more than just action and fun, and I want really good visuals. If the story is a little weak, I don't need that with a Godzilla movie.
Yeah. Plus, it got 11 in it.
Yeah, it's like got
Stranger
Millie
Things.
Bobby Brown in it.
so
I think it looks good enough. Of course, I really trust Michael Dougherty. He's never disappointed me in the past. I love Trick or Treat. I loved Krampus. I trust that filmmaker.
Yeah. Godzilla. Stranger Things Season 3.
So, yeah. And actually, yeah, it really fits in there.
Thanksgiving 4, is that coming out this year? I'm not looking
I don't know.
forward
We're kind of going down our list on Letterboxd by what's considered to be most popular. So we're going to hit a lot of these big ones first. But yeah, absolutely. Godzilla looks great. I think it's going to be really fun. Now, here's one I really didn't think we were going to see happen. I've heard about the sequel for years. For many, many years. And I thought it was just, it's kind of like, holy shit, Tom Cruise is here.
Tom Cruise just ran into the chat.
I just love him.
Slow down, Tom. I can't read what you're saying.
I know. Stop jumping up and down on Oprah's couch. I need to be able to read what you're saying. So this is one I did not see happening. I thought it was going to be like World War Z, where it's happening, it's not happening, it's getting pushed back, maybe it's happening, it's probably not going to happen. But no, we are getting Zombieland Double Tap this year. Same cast. They've recreated the original poster. It looks almost like the same, it's 10 years later.
Obviously, they're older.
Well, yeah, it's 10 years later.
Yeah. And I did a review on Zombieland, if you ever want to check that out. And I talk about how the sequel, maybe we'll get it someday. Well, that's finally been answered. Our first Zombieland was written as a TV pilot, but they never got to make it a TV show until later. But as they made it in a movie, they had to, add in all that carnival theme park stuff at the end to make it a full-length feature film. Then later, years later, they did finally make a TV show, and that sucked, sadly. But the movie I love of Zombieland, the first one, and I don't know. So this kind of came out of nowhere for me, but this probably is the most anticipated movie for me.
And, yeah, so we've got the original cast. We also have some new faces here. We've got Zoe Douche, who, I don't know. I probably just butchered her name. Douche. Douche with a T. Douche. I'm going to call her Zoe D. Zoe D. She was in Vampire Academy. I didn't love that, but I do think she's a good actress. She is the daughter of, what is the name of the mom in Back to the Future?
I know who you're talking about.
All right. She's,
from Howard the Duck.
Yeah, from Howard the Duck. Leah Thompson? That's her daughter.
Yeah.
We also have Rosario Dawson, who is just fantastic and absolutely everything. I believe they're kind of talking about maybe her being a love interest for Tallahassee. But I have gotten really no plot details on this, except for I think I heard somewhere that maybe Abigail Breslin's character is going to kind of go off on her own. And they're going to...
It was so sad, even though because she was a little girl in the first one, that she didn't get to be a zombie. Maybe in this one, she'll get to be a zombie.
Maybe. From what I understand, I think she's going off on her own, and they need to go, like, track her down. But I'm not entirely sure. I like that they're kind of keeping it under wraps. I'm looking forward to a trailer.
You know, the puppy that she,
Tom Cruise said, fun fact, zombies didn't start running in films until I did. I believe it. I believe it.
I think he got bit as a zombie, but then he outran the virus. And that's why he doesn't age. I think he outruns age, too. He outruns all
really
death in any way. He outruns being a
zombie.
So
thoughts on Zombieland 2?
It's probably going to be my most anticipated.
Do you have any thoughts on what it's going to be about? I mean, I've read stuff here and there, but I don't know a whole lot, except for that maybe Abigail Breslin's kind of like the inciting incident.
I don't really care what it's about.
Honestly,
I didn't really care what the first one was about, to be honest.
Like, there are some movies where I enjoy the cast enough that I will watch them do anything. I know with Guardians of the Galaxy, a lot of people were disappointed with part 2 because they didn't like where the story went, but I was happy just revisiting the characters. I could watch the characters go grocery shopping and be entertained. That's how I feel with Zombieland 2. I have no doubt that I'm going to enjoy this movie. Maybe not as much as the first one. Maybe I'll like it more, but I have no doubt I'm going to enjoy it.
See, that's how I feel the show failed, because it wasn't written badly. The show was actually kind of cool in a certain sense, but the cast just couldn't compete with the movie's cast. They are just like, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff, where you just love the cast, you just love the group of characters. It doesn't really matter what they're doing. As long as they're together interacting, you're going to have a good time watching it. So that's all I feel about Zombieland 2. As long as it's got the same, even if it hits just the exact same notes, like same beats and temps of the movie, I'm going to enjoy it.
Alright, so I'm going to tell you on this one that we need to keep this spoiler free.
Alright.
We're going to not talk about this one too much because the marketing campaign for this movie is not my favorite. We're going to talk about Pet Sematary.
I only saw the first trailer. I was told not to watch the other ones, so I did not.
I watched the teaser trailer, and yes, I watched the regular one because I didn't quite get the warnings in time. I will tell you, a lot of people are like, well, how can a trailer spoil it? There's a book based on it. It spoils it because they've decided to go in a very different direction that changes many of the plot points from the book. And I think they should have maybe kept that as a surprise for the movie, but it's spoiled on the poster, it's spoiled in the trailer. It also shows you a lot of, the trailer's one of those ones that goes beat by beat the whole movie. So I feel like I've already kind of seen a shortened version of the film. So I'm not crazy about that at all.
The original movie is one of my favorite movies. I'd say a few of the special effects don't hold up today. And I kind of am a little sad that Bruce Campbell didn't get to be the lead after all, even though he was their first pick. He just it didn't work out for whatever reason. But you can even tell when you watch that movie, you can kind of tell it was written a little bit for him.
I know Drake has talked a lot, the Horror Zone in the chat here, he's talked a lot about how he hates the way Church looks. I don't have a problem with how Church looks. I do love the look of the original cat. It's called the blue something.
Yeah.
Gorgeous cat, but this one looks fine. I think for the most part, everybody looks good. I really like John Lithgow. I think he's a great choice. And I think Jason Clarke is highly underrated. I know he was in Winchester last year, and I know a lot of people really hated Winchester. I liked it. And what's more, I thought he did a really good job.
I didn't like Winchester too much just because like the ghosts and everything were just, I don't know, bad jump scares. But I did like him in that. I thought he actually was a very interesting character. And that was probably the best part.
I thought the performances were good in Winchester. Yeah. And maybe not the CGI, maybe not the story, but the performances were good.
Yeah, the performances were a lot better than I think some people give it credit just because of the bad CGI.
And I'm not going to spoil anything here because I don't know, so I'm not spoiling anything for you. But for me, Pet Sematary is probably the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life, the original one. Zelda gave me nightmares for years. That movie still scares me. And I thought I saw something in the trailer that looked like Zelda, and if they're just going to go with a CGI mess, it will not compare. It will not be the nightmare fuel that the original Pet Sematary is.
No, the original Zelda was actually a man, but he was so skinny that
Yeah.
And like then he did the
which makes me think of the guy that they had play Mama, the guy that they had play the hobo in It. He's very skinny. He does a lot of horror acting roles. Like he would probably be a perfect Zelda.
Yeah. If it wasn't an age thing, I would go with the guy who played the freaking Castle Freak, but he's a little too old nowadays.
Yeah, but you know the guy I'm talking about. The guy who was like Mama and stuff. He always plays like creatures and stuff.
John Lithgow is what kind of sold me on this movie, though.
Yeah, he's
I didn't
perfect.
think anybody would ever replace Herman Munster, and I don't think he will. But John Lithgow, you get me pretty much. I'll watch any John Lithgow movie. I'll give it a shot. So I don't know. I'm on the fence.
I try very much to not compare movies. I mean, obviously you do agree when you are reviewing them. I try to enjoy the movie for itself. It's going to be very hard for me to not compare this one to the other one just because I love it so much. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. I was really stoked until I saw the trailer. And I'm not loving that they spoiled so much of it. But I do like that they're going to incorporate the Wendigo. I like that they're going to incorporate some more of the mythology. I don't know. Supernatural's got me pronouncing it that way. But yeah, I think I'm excited.
The book actually is amazing, and I'll always have the book no matter what they make. So.
Exactly.
And like I said, I love the original. It's one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. It's the first time he actually did one in Maine. In fact, it was just a couple blocks from where Stephen King was living. But I don't know. This one could be really good. It could also be an entire mess. I
don't think it's going to be a mess. I don't think that. I don't think it's going to be bad. I think what I'm anticipating not liking about this movie is I'm anticipating there might be some bad CGI. I'm anticipating it may not be as rich of a story. I'm anticipating that it may not be scary like the original one. I am anticipating that the performances are going to be good and the cinematography is going to be good. I don't know if I'm going to like how it all comes together, though, with the changes they've made.
Yeah, Graveyard of Go-Go. I, too, haven't seen the trailer. I saw the teaser. I know that's why I found out John Lithgow was in it, and I was like, okay, that might be good. I'm avoiding the trailer. I hear bad things about it, though, so that kind of gets me going,
Anyone who tells you it doesn't spoil anything or tells you you have nothing to worry about because there's a book, no. They've made a very big change in this. It completely alters the second half of the movie. So if you do not want spoilers, do not watch it. I'm just telling you that as a friend. Our buddy Tom Cruise said unpopular opinion that he likes Pet Sematary 2 more than Pet Sematary 1.
Honestly, I love Pet Sematary 2.
I do, too. I like the original one better. That's it. Javier Botet is the guy I was thinking of who I think would be good. And I also saw that Tony mentioned Tom Noonan, who would also be good. But I do think they need to go the same way with Zelda, because Zelda was perfection.
Yeah, because I mean...
Pet Sematary 2,
yeah, John Connor.
I'm bouncing around on. Pet Sematary 2 is great. I love the guy who played the stepfather.
The guy from Highlander.
Genius.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the bad guy in Highlander. He's also been in lots of other things. That guy was so creepy. He's like, just working on my dog, and he's drilling it, and
It was a good movie.
I
think it gets a lot of shit for no good reason.
It's got some cheesy lines. It does. It has some but so does the first one. I mean, so does the book.
Fair.
The book has some cheesy shit in it too. But I love all three of them. I do love Part 2.
And here's one hope I do have that will definitely lean me more towards really enjoying this movie. If you've read any Stephen King book, music is such a big part of his books, and this one's no exception. There's a reason why the Ramones made a song called Pet Sematary for the movie, which only played during the credits, unfortunately. But the reason why is because throughout the book, there are tons of Ramones songs. Like, they pepper the entire book. So I would love some, like, Blitzkrieg Bop or something, which is one that's used a lot in the book. They constantly do the hey ho, let's go. Yeah. I would love at least that song in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just like, sometimes he starts a chapter with a little quote, but even in the the dad.
Yeah, his name's Clancy Brown. Thank you, Elizabeth Tolentino. Again, another new face, and welcome.
Okay, Mr. Krabs.
Yes. But yeah, he's fantastic.
But no, both Pet Sematary scared me when I was young. I don't get scared anymore. It's been forever since I've been scared by any movie, but I have childhood nightmares of both, even Part 2, with the whole dog-faced woman and just... Good stuff.
All right, so the next one, because I'm kind of going here by, our list. I don't know a whole lot about this one, but this movie's called The Lighthouse. How many of you are excited for this movie? This one is directed by Robert Eggers, who did The Witch.
Okay.
He has a remake of Nosferatu coming up, and I feel like he does a great job just doing very atmospheric, like densely atmospheric films.
Yeah.
He really knows how to create a mood. And in this one, we're going to have William Dafoe, and we're going to have Robert Pattinson, aka, from Twilight. And it's about an aging lighthouse keeper named Old, who lives in 20th century Maine. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know it's supposed to be in black and white. And I think it's going to, just based on Robert Eggers, just be a really creepy, atmospheric film. I want more plot details, and I really would love a trailer, but mostly I'm excited for this one because of Robert Eggers.
I didn't even hear about this one till now, but just hearing that, it almost sounds like a movie I just watched called Cold Skin, where it pretty much takes place in a lighthouse the entire time.
That's what I was thinking too, especially with the pairing of two men.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one had like a kind of a...
Dances with Fish People or Avatar Mermaid.
So I don't have a whole lot to say about that one, but definitely one I want to mention.
Oh, I've heard a little bit about The Lodge.
Next, we're going to talk about The Lodge. Let us know what you think of that. If you have heard about it, it's got Jaden Lieber. It's Jaden Ells in it, who played Ben, the kid Ben, in Chapter 1 of It.
Okay.
Riley Kay's in it. Richard Armitage is in it. Alicia Silverstone.
Somebody try her tart. Somebody try her tart.
And it's about two siblings who spend a night alone with their new stepmother stuck in a remote cabin. The trio are terrorized by a supernatural force. And I will say this doesn't sound like the most original movie ever. I've seen a lot of movies like this. But there is a lot of buzz that this is going to be a really creepy movie. So I want to check it out.
And I have to say, I've seen a lot of good movies with this type of plot. So it might be.
Always room for there to be another one. I mean... It's not necessarily that, you can have a tired concept, but if you do something new with it, it won't feel tired.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see it. We'll see how it goes.
Original doesn't always mean good either.
And another one that also does not have a poster. This one's going to be by Ari Aster, who you guys know from Hereditary. I mean, he made... arguably the best horror movie of last year.
Some people would say that. So.
He kicked some serious ass. So, of course, I want to see what he's going to do next. I mean, I'll pretty much watch anything he does at this point. And it's called Midsummer. And it's about a young couple that travels to Sweden to visit their friend's rural hometown and attend its Midsummer Festival. And it begins as an idyllic retreat, and it ends up that there's like a pagan cult. And I love witch movies. I love pagan movies. We got a little bit of that in Hereditary, but I can tell just from the lore of the movie Hereditary that this is a filmmaker that really enjoys doing his research, that really enjoys expanding upon that lore and making a dense story. So
sounds like the pagans are going to make them participate in some sort of violent competition.
Yeah. So yeah, it's got Will Poulter in it, who was in Bandersnatch. Yeah, I think I honestly I'm just gonna watch anything Ari Aster does at this point. But like us, I love Get Out. I loved Hereditary, so I'm really excited for this, and I'm just excited for anything about paganism and cults and stuff.
Yeah, and violent competition, Hunger Games style. If you tweaked Hunger Games, you'd have, oh wait, they did that. It was called Battle Royale. A great horror movie.
Well, if you tweaked Battle Royale, because it came out first.
That's what I'm saying. If you tweaked Hunger Games, you could get a great horror movie. But oh wait.
Yeah, Grim Host is excited for this one. I think absolutely. I mean, Ari Aster was so hands-on with so much of that film, and the fact that he's coming back just a year later and doing it again, writing and directing, I just think it's one to certainly be excited for.
Oh, since it's a violent competition, I kind of wish this had the Bandersnatch, choose your own adventure.
Ha. And Confused Reviews, our buddy Confused Reviews is here.
What up?
And he says he left us a surprise. We're going to have to check that out later.
Oh,
I just gave him a wrench. Now, we finally got one I have seen a trailer for, and I am stoked. Why has this not been done yet? It's Brightburn.
Oh, the evil Superman kind of conception?
Superman. I mean, it's been touched on so many times in the DC universe that Superman is all-powerful. What if he went bad? And yeah, we've seen him go bad in Injustice. We've seen him go bad in numerous comics. But what if we just scrapped Superman and took the concept of this alien kid and made it a horror movie?
There's even been where Zod came to Earth instead, and he was evil in a sense.
Absolutely. This movie is doing that. This movie is independent of the DC universe. It's its own story, but it's very much inspired by Superman's story. And I think it looks awesome.
Which so many stories have been inspired. Like, there's so many rip-offs of Superman. Goku is like probably the biggest rip-off of Superman, as much as I like him better. But yeah, I'd love to see this cool. It's almost like the poster itself implies like a vampire, but it's
the poster I don't know about.
It's not though.
I think they could have made it a little more clear that it's inspired by Superman. Yeah. I also don't understand the title. And it's not one that really. For a while there, I kept messing up the title.
Well, Superman is powered by the sun, so maybe Brightburn has something to do with his powers.
Possibly, and I love Elizabeth Banks. I think she's fantastic, and I did see this filmmaker's other film, The Hive.
We saw it.
It wasn't the best movie ever, but it wasn't bad, and it was certainly original.
Yeah, I remember enjoying it. It wasn't like high on my list of that year, but it was still good.
Yeah, I mean, Chronicle kind of did its own thing too. Like,
yes.
But I think it's cool that this is just. I mean, this is basically the dark Superman story. So yeah, I don't know. It looks good. I thought the trailer looked good. I want to see this. Let us know what you guys think of this one in the chat.
Chronicle was good. I loved how they were tormenting people, but it was more like, what if you found powers? This one's a person who's born from somewhere else that has the Superman powers.
I feel like Chronicle was more of a realistic superhero story. This one isn't trying to be realistic. Yeah. It looks pretty out there.
Trying to be a horror version of Superman.
Exactly that. I like how I see one person on a Letterboxd. They called it, "We need to talk about Kal-El."
Yeah,
I like it.
Good quote there.
Okay, we're just moving right along.
We got the new Tim Burton. Well, no, not Tim Burton. Conrad Vernon.
Conrad Vernon and Greg Tierman. Their new stop motion version of the Addams Family that comes out this year.
All right. I don't know why Gomez is so plump, but
they very much. I mean, I can see why you thought it was Tim Burton because it very much looks like his style.
Well, I read an article on it. I guess it had nothing to do with Tim Burton, but for some reason those people said it was. But sometimes what you read is wrong.
We've got some big names doing voices. We got Charlize Theron, who is going to be Morticia. Chloe Grace is going to be Wednesday. Finn Wolfhard is going to be Pugsley. Nick Kroll is going to be Uncle Fester. Okay. We got Bette Midler as Grandma.
Bette Midler.
Loads of just big names here. And I love stop motion. And I love the Addams Family. I mean, I will watch anything with the Addams Family.
Even the old Saturday morning cartoon. I used to watch that all the time.
Yeah, I love the Saturday morning cartoon. I love the original series. I love the movies.
Fuck Fester's Quest for NES, though. That was like the hardest game ever. But everything other than that was great.
But yeah, I think this is going to be a really fun one to take the kid to. And
yeah.
I see a lot of people commenting on this one. I've seen a lot of comments, people saying that they wish it was live action. I think it's always good to do something new. I've never seen a stop motion Addams Family. I've seen lots of animated with the Scooby-Doo new movies,
Scooby-Doo movies,
and the old cartoon.
Where they met the
and I've
Addams
seen
family.
The live action movies, and I think if you did a live action movie, it's going to be compared to the live action movies we had in the 90s.
And it's good to maybe bread something like this in between, and then later on if they do another live action, cool.
You can also be a lot crazier with stop motion or animation. You can do things that would be impossible or at least very expensive to do with effects. So yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's see how.
I really like how Lurch looks. He looks like he's Return of the Living Dead.
I think Fester looks cute.
Yeah.
I want to know why Pugsley's shirt is red. I guess it's because they're not black and white. I don't know.
It's just red and white stripes.
It should be black and white.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it looks cute. It might get a spooky animation nod next year.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Take Lols to see it.
So here's one that I don't believe you read, but I did read this. I'm curious to see how this turns out. Let's talk about Dr. Sleep.
The sequel to The Shining.
It is the sequel to The Shining, and if you haven't read the book, it's, in a nutshell, Danny, who was Jack's son.
Danny's not here right now.
Danny grows up, and he really kind of follows his dad's lead. He becomes an addict, and he kind of hits rock bottom one day when he wakes up after sleeping with a woman, and he sees her child walking around in a unchanged diaper near a whole bunch of coke that they had left on the table. He's just like, this is my fucking life. I need to get my shit together. So he goes and he works at a place where there's a little tourist train for people, and he just tries to kind of just find himself and be his best self again. And, you talk about his mom and even Halloran? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like a mentor to him because he also had The Shining. He does not die in the book, so.
Yeah, he's still alive.
So he is mentioned a lot in Doctor Sleep. But then out of nowhere, he gets like a message through The Shining, like a psychic message from a girl who is in danger. And she is very strong with The Shining. And she needs help because there is this band of like psychic vampires, I guess. They will take your energy, your shine. They go after people who have the shining, and they take the shining out of them. They kind of keep them in these canisters, and that's how they survive. And they're kind of like gypsy-like, and they have, I think, like a Winnebago, and they know about this girl. And you know she's, because she just radiates. Anybody with the shining can feel her, and they're coming for her. So Danny needs to get his shit together, and he needs to go help this girl and stop these vampires.
Is her name Barbara? They're coming for her.
No.
I've read The Shining several times. I've never read Doctor Sleep, but you've told me plenty about it, and I eventually will read it. Probably, I guess I will read it soon, just because the movie's coming out, so I'll probably get on that. But, I don't know.
I'm curious to see how this comes together. I like that Ewan McGregor has been cast as Danny. I think he's fantastic.
Okay.
Trying to see if there's other names here I recognize. Bruce Greenwood was good a couple years back in Gerald's Game. Yeah, so we've got, a decent cast. And then the biggest thing is Mike Flanagan is directing it. And I really like him. I liked him with his early stuff. I liked Absentia. He also did, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the movie. He did Hush. He did Gerald's Game. He did Oculus. He's been doing The Haunting of Hill House. He did Ouija, Origin of Evil. He did Before I Wake. He's done a lot of great films, and I've been a fan, since Oculus. So
yeah,
and since Absentia, which I think was before that. So I think he's a great filmmaker. I think he does a fantastic job. I don't think he's going to disappoint us with this.
Yeah, I liked Hush, and even his Ouija was a lot better than the other Ouija.
And I think it's interesting because a couple years ago, we had a huge Stephen King year. It was the last time we had an It movie. Mm-hmm. This year, we're having a big Stephen King year. We've got Doctor Sleep. We've got In the Tall Grass. We've got Pet Sematary. And we have It Chapter 2. And that's just the ones I can think of off the top of my head. There might even be some more. It's a big Stephen King year.
I just wonder if this Stephen King's Doctor Sleep, is it going to be... is it just a sequel that where they aren't going to show any flashbacks of anything, or is it a sequel to the movie, or is it a sequel to the TV series?
See, to be Doctor Sleep, they're going to have to do a sequel to the book. But they might want to change things around because maybe some people haven't read the original book, but there are differences. Like Halloran, like I said, does not die in the book.
Yeah.
And just a lot of things are different, especially towards the end of the book, The Shining, as opposed to Kubrick's movie of The Shining.
There's also the miniseries.
But they're also calling it Stephen King's Doctor Sleep, and Stephen King does not like the Kubrick film.
No, but it was Stephen King's The Shining for the miniseries. So is this a sequel to that? Will there be flashbacks to that? The guy from Wings?
Sucked some ass.
It did. It was closer to the book.
I think they're best sticking to adapting the book. If they need to get rid of Halloran because they want it to make sense to people who've only seen the movies, I guess that's fine. Let me see if Halloran's even cast.
No flashbacks of bad CGI.
Abra, that's the name of the little girl who's psychic.
No bad.
And Rebecca Ferguson is going to play the lead villain, Rose the Hat. So she's great. I think she's perfectly cast.
I just don't want any flashbacks of bad CGI.
Yeah, Dick Halloran is cast. So I think they are going with the book. They're going with the narrative from the book. So I think that's actually the way to go. Because Kubrick's The Shining is really good, but it is not true to Stephen King's book necessarily.
I'm just saying the miniseries was called Stephen King's Shining.
Yeah.
Oh! Thank you.
Hey, our buddy Drake donated. He says, Freddy's here.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
Drake, you the man, buddy.
Our brother, thank you. We really appreciate it. We always appreciate support for the show. Thank you so much.
I was trying to say, though, just don't give me any flashbacks of bad CGI garden animals.
I don't want, if they're going to do flashbacks, I want them to be original to this movie.
Yeah.
I don't want them showing us flashbacks.
The TV series.
I don't want to see footage of Kubrick's film. I don't want to see footage of the TV miniseries. Yeah. If they're going to do a flashback, I want them to create it new for this film.
I wonder if they might even just, the very beginning of this movie might be just the very end of The Shining. And then go, 20 years later.
It is important that they address The Shining because it very much touches on a lot of the things from The Shining. In fact, they revisit where the Overlook stood at one point. But I really think if they do this right, they can make this a film that can stand on its own, where, they address what happened in The Shining, but, maybe show us some flashbacks. But I think this movie is going to work best if you don't need to have seen The Shining to understand it.
Yeah. Like I said, they might even just the first 5 minutes of this movie might be like the end of The Shining. But we'll see.
You don't necessarily... I honestly think it would work better if they mixed the flashbacks in, because it's very much Danny's story. So if you watch Danny's story, you see that he's a drug addict, and then you flashback and you show that his dad was an alcoholic. His dad was violent. Mm-hmm. Then as things progress more and more, you show flashbacks to his experience in the Overlook. I think, personally, that's how I would like to see it go.
Yeah.
Because the other way, to me, feels a little too TV movie. But that's just my thought.
What else we got?
What we got, Danny boy? All right, so next up, this is one we just saw a whole bunch of really fun teasers for, and I am
premiered on the Super Bowl. Probably the best thing about the boring Super Bowl this year.
So, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is coming out. I don't know too much about this, except for that it's a Guillermo del Toro film,
which is going to be probably
good.
And
this movie, it's going to obviously bring a lot of the stories. Oh, thanks, Drake.
Shit, man. Thank you.
He says, "Welcome to my world."
We are the weirdos, mister.
Thank you, Drake.
We got some good
Our brother.
Yeah, though, I would say I don't know plot-wise, but the creatures that I've seen in the little teasers look exactly like the artwork from the books, and that part I'm hooked on just that.
And to you guys talking about Curse of Leorna or Laura, we're gonna get to that one soon. It's coming up. But first, let's talk about this one. They're going to bring a lot of the stories from Scary Stories to the Dark to the big screen. And what I love about this is I think what made it the scariest is originally these books had really frightening art.
Oh, yeah, for little kids.
To the point that they were banned from many schools. Not my school, but from a lot of schools. And then they reissued them with new art. And I was just like, it's not scary anymore.
I didn't think my school was cool until I heard that. And I'm like, my school must be cool because I got them all.
Yeah, I had them all. My parents got them for me. But yeah, I love that if you look at the art from the originals and you compare it to what we're seeing in the movie, it looks exactly like it. I don't know. I don't think they've even told us yet whether or not this is going to be rated PG-13 or if it's going to be rated R.
It said in the little trailer things that this film is not yet rated.
Yeah, it says not yet rated, so maybe they don't even know. I've heard some people say that they want this to be something that kids can go to. I know, I think I saw a review of Dr. Wolf for that. For me, it doesn't really matter too much.
We'll probably watch it with lols either way. I mean, we'll check it out if it's R, but
because
cool.
The art, honestly, in this was too scary for a lot of younger kids. I think I would like this mostly directed towards maybe a early to mid-teen audience, like anywhere between like 14 and like 20.
Monster Squad, where you would.
I don't want them to play it super safe, and I don't want them to neuter it, but have some fun with it. I don't want this to be like a Goosebump movie.
No, those are a little. I mean, I like the Goosebump movies. I think they're fun, they're cute, and they're good. But this one, I wanted to be a little scarier than that. But it doesn't need to be like horrifically gory and violent.
I'm trying to find the book.
It's just these. Lols has all 3 of the books.
I have all 3.
Oh, you have all 3 of the books. Lols. I had the entire original Goosebumps collection of the original. I gave them all to him. I thought Gory gave these to Lols, but I guess she kept them for herself. I'm pretty sure they're in his room.
No, I have my own.
Oh, you have your own as well.
Anyway, I can't find them, but yeah, they were, essentially, they collected folk stories from around the world, like really scary folk stories. A lot of them you're probably familiar with, like, having a boil in your face that is full of spiders. Scarecrow that comes to life, things like that. And, they were really good. They were pretty short, and there was 3 books.
They reminded me of, like, a modern-day, Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
So, just, like, but
horrific. Yeah, they were really popular in the 80s, back when we were kids. And,
oh, yeah.
they were scary. So
I had them at my school. I checked them out of my library a couple of times, but then eventually through those book orders that you'd have, I ended up getting them all. So
if they do direct it to kids, I'm not going to be upset. But I want them to make it scary for kids. Like the Goosebump ones and all that, they try to make it fun for kids. I don't want this to be fun. I want this to be scary. I want this to be something that...
Up a notch.
If it is PG-13, that kids dare each other to watch. Grudge is PG-13. The Ring is PG-13. I think those are very scary movies. So I want them to go more that vein. I don't want them to shy away from making this really scary.
We used to read these to Lals while camping and stuff, and he loved it. Good times. So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. The art looks great. I don't know too much about how it's going to play out, but from what I've seen, it looks great.
Well, Guillermo del Toro is producing it, and he does great work, and I know he's really excited to bring this to the big screen, so this is one I'm definitely going to see, and I'm most likely going to take Walls to.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one that's on our list. What's the next one that's on our list? Dun, 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 dun. There's a lot of movies on this list.
Yeah.
Where's the one that they keep talking about? I swear that's on here. Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh. All of these are anticipated for me.
All right, I'm going to look up one for them just because they keep talking about it. And I thought it was on my list, but it's not. So I guess it's good they mentioned it.
All right.
Dun, dun, dun. Buy us some time, Dan.
So, if you watch my personal channel and you watch Elimination Chamber, you know I got to keep my title. Gory Punishment coming soon. And if you watch our last stream, she drank a whole bottle of peanut butter and jelly soda that was expired by what, 5 years? 5 years?
I did.
I don't know. That happened. She kind of has peanut butter and jelly breath. She brushed her teeth. Let's see, what are they saying in the chat?
Yeah, what do they say in the chat? Talk to the chat for a bit.
You're talking about Afraid of the Dark, Tony Rose. I would like kind of a Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot in a sense. I loved that. The Midnight Society. That was some good shit.
All right, here it is. I thought this was on my list, but it's not. So you guys are talking a lot about The Curse of La Lorna, which is one I'm excited about. It's going to have Linda Cardellini in it. It's about a social worker who is dealing with the disappearance of 2 children and fears for her own family after beginning the investigation. So we got Sean Patrick Thomas in it, Patricia Velasquez. It is directed by Michael Chavez, and it's produced by James Wan.
Oh, okay.
So Michael Chavez is also working on The Conjuring 3. He's a fairly new filmmaker. I can see why a lot of people are excited about this. I think especially because the Conjuring films are really popular. So are the Insidious films. I anticipate this is going to be in that vein. If you like Annabelle, if you like Conjuring, if you like Insidious, pretty much anything in the Wanverse, it's going to be right up your alley. I am not a huge fan of those movies, so I have my reservations about this. I'm not super excited for it, but I probably will check it out.
We'll see it, but I don't know. I don't like The Conjuring.
What are your thoughts?
I hope it's better than The Conjuring. That's my thoughts.
I think the plot sounds interesting. I think, honestly, for me to really make a decision on this one, I want to see a trailer.
Yeah.
And wait a second, is there a trailer? What? There's a trailer. Should we watch it right now?
You want to? They are Ariel. That's cool. I wouldn't, like I said, that'd be cool to see her.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I butcher all the names. I feel terrible.
I can't even read that.
What?
Be sure and tell them Large Marge
thank you. We got a new subscriber. Welcome.
Marjana?
So yeah, kid in a bathtub. I'm getting kind of an Amityville horror vibe watching this.
Oh, Annabelle can be good.
I do like Linda Cardellini a lot. She was Velma in those live action movies. I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah,
so
she's
amazing. We're watching the trailer for this right now, and the rocking horse. I'm getting a huge Conjuring, Insidious type vibe.
Spooky, dark, paranormal type.
But those movies are really popular for a reason. People love those. We're just in the minority here, and I wish I want to be like everybody else. I don't know.
They're mainstream, which isn't. I like some mainstream horror. That's just not.
I've liked some of them. I liked Insidious 3, and I liked Annabelle 2.
Those were one of the better ones. I kind of like The Nun, but I guess most people that are into those movies didn't like The Nun.
There are 2 trailers. I'm just kind of watching this one just to get an idea of it. But yeah, this is very much, it looks like another Conjuring movie to me.
Yeah, I might fall asleep.
Yeah, I'm not super stoked for this one, I'll be honest.
Those are the type of movies that make me sleepy.
Not super into that one at all.
That doesn't mean that they're not good in a sense, but I don't know.
The next one we're going to talk about is a return of Dario Argento.
Starring Metallica, the Sandman. What? They're not in this? Hetfield? Oh. Alright, well, maybe from ECW's The Sandman? You know? Sycamore Cane, the kendo stick, Captain Barbwire. No?
This is a return of Dario Argento to the big screen with a movie. It's going to have Iggy Pop in it, I know that much. It says, The Sandman tells the story of Nathan, a young student in the city who struggles to forget his childhood trauma at the hands of a serial killer dubbed the Sandman. Nathan killed the Sandman years ago on Christmas Eve after he witnessed the murder of his mother, until he sees the beautiful woman who lives in the apartment across the way dying at the hands of the same masked killer.
Dun dun dun!
The brutal murder plunges Nathan into an odyssey into the night country of his past, his dreams, and the buried secrets of the Sandman. So,
she's going all out.
What?
You're going all out. In a world, Gory tells him.
In a world. Gory tells you about movies that are coming out.
I don't know. It sounds like it might be good, but it also sounds like how the Snowman sounded like that might be good.
Oh, brah, dude. It's Dario Argento, all right?
True.
The man's a master. The man's a fucking master. It's been a while since I've seen an Argento movie. It's been a long time, actually.
Opera is one of his best ones, I always thought.
Yeah, honestly, the last one I saw of him was Argento's Dracula, which I will say wasn't that great. But I don't believe that even came out at the theater, so I'm excited for this. I mean, I'm not going to have the biggest of expectations, but I think the plot sounds good. I like Iggy Pop. He's going to be in it. Okay. I like Dario Argento. It sounds creepy. I like the mask that I'm seeing on the poster.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll always love Dario Argento, but sometimes when people go away for a long time, they don't always come back. What's the name of the one with
Dee Snider as the killer?
Strangeland.
Yeah, that's what Elizabeth says it sounds like.
It does sound kind of like Strangeland. Which, I love that movie. It's got some cheese in it. So is this
Neil Gaiman's The Sandman? Because I've never read those graphic novels, but that's what we're hearing in the chat. So that's interesting. I am a big Neil Gaiman fan, though I haven't read The Sandman, but I did like a lot of his things, like Coraline and such. So
yeah, Coraline's great.
That would definitely make me more excited.
Oh.
What are your thoughts? I'm excited to see it. I don't know if I need to see it in the theater, but I do want to see it. I don't even know if this is coming out of the theater.
It might not, but I'm just glad Dario Argento's coming back.
Me too.
That's the best thing I can say about it.
Just keep working as long as you can work, man.
Yep.
All right, so the next one, there's not a whole lot on this one, but it's called The Dead Don't Die. How many of you guys have heard about this one? It's directed by Jim J.
Well, he did the Johnny Depp Dead Man movie.
Yeah, he did. He also did Only Lovers Left Alive.
Broken Flowers with Bill Murray. I remember that.
So he's,
not a horror, though.
He's coming out with a movie called The Dead Don't Die. The biggest reason I'm excited for this one is Bill Murray's going to be in it.
Oh, well, yeah, and he's Broken Flowers, so there you go.
Well, yeah, you've also got Chloe Savini and Selena Gomez and Steve Buscemi.
Oh, Steve Buscemi.
And Tilda Swinton's in it, Rosie Perez, Daniel Craig. It's got a pretty impressive cast. I know nothing about what it's about. There's no poster, there's no trailer, but it's on my radar.
Dead Don't Die, I almost want to think it's going to be about zombies, or maybe the Day of the Dead, like Sugar Skull stuff, maybe some
or
of that.
ghosts. It's supposed to be a comedy horror.
Oh, comedy. Well, that explains Bill Murray, then.
Oh, Ben says he was joking. It's not based on Neil Gaiman. I was wondering why Neil Gaiman wasn't on the poster, but that makes sense now. Dude, you know I can't pick up humor in text messages? Brah.
Just look at his face, though. Of course he's being silly.
He's adorable.
He's always silly. Look at his little Ben face.
I drew him as a dong. I drew him like my French dongs. So The Dead Don't Die. I don't have a lot of information for you guys, but it's on my radar. Comedy horror. Bill Murray's in it. I'm there, dude.
Yeah, the cast has me. You have me at the cast. Bill Murray.
You had me at Bill Murray.
Yeah, and then throw in Steve Buscemi. Okay, it's great. It's already the best movie, probably.
The next one we're going to talk about is one directed by Bill Wheatley.
Oh, I heard a little bit about this.
Or Ben Wheatley. He did Kill List, which was a great British horror movie. He also did Sightseers.
I love Sightseers. That was great.
Yeah, he's done some good horror. He's got a new one coming out. It's going to be a science fiction thriller action horror movie. And it's about a city where dangerous monsters emerge from underground every night. A monster fighting patrol team is tasked with finding and exterminating them before they kill the city's inhabitants. It kind of gives me a vampire cleanup department vibe.
The Watch.
Yep.
It also looks just...
We've got Alicia Vikander in here, who was in Tomb Raider recently. She was in Ex Machina. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but it sounds good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like, I don't think it's going to, like, be top of my list when I see it, but I think it's going to be good.
I'm going to check it out. Don't know if I need to see it in the theater. Some of these, I need to see a trailer. I need to see a trailer before I get super stoked.
Tony, you showed your coworkers your dong pic. You know that's how you can get fired. You might lose your job. Keep showing people your dong pics.
It is really cute.
She drew him as a dong.
I'm sure they figured it out. Duh. So the next one is by a filmmaker I'm not familiar with, Abe Forsyth. It's called Little Monsters. How many of you guys have heard about this one? It's about a washed-up musician who teams up with a teacher and a kids show personality to protect young children from a sudden outbreak of zombies.
Now, I kind of think I'm getting the Cooties vibe here.
Yes, I am too.
And I was so excited for Cooties.
And this is going to be a comedy horror.
And I was so excited for Cooties. It wasn't that good. Thankfully, that year we also got the Boy Scouts versus the Boy Scouts Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, which was really great. And
from what I understand, this is going to be an Australian horror movie. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm excited about the premise. It's on my radar. I'm going to make a decision about this one when I get a trailer.
Yeah, like I said, it sounds like Cooties, and I was really let down by Cooties. Like, it wasn't awful.
Chase Smith in the chat is excited. Chase, if you know anything more about this, please let us know, because this is one I'm definitely curious about.
I need to see a trailer first. I love the idea, but like I said, when I heard about Cooties and I saw the trailer for Cooties, I was super on board. Saw it. It wasn't bad, but it was nowhere near what I thought it was going to be.
We're making good progress, because we have 40 movies we're talking about, and now we're on number 31.
Is Fred Savage coming back for the remake of Little Monsters?
Bruh, dude, he's totes busy hanging out with Deadpool now.
Okay, alright, fine.
Dude.
It's not that Little Monsters.
Fred Savage ain't got enough time in his day to do Little Monsters again. And you can't do it without Howie Mandel.
Yeah, and he hurt himself when he was blowing that glove up on his head. And he's also a germaphobe now.
Yeah,
so.
he can't do that. He can't do that. There's like all kinds of gross jokes in that. He can't do that.
I'm gonna go watch Little Monsters now after we're done.
Totes me too.
All
right, let's talk about one that I know a lot of the horror community is highly divided on. And I certainly have my opinions. You have your opinions. Let's talk about Child's Play.
All right. I love Aubrey Plaza. She's amazing.
That's where you start?
Yep, that's my... I'm trying to say the nice things first.
Okay, hit it.
That's about all I gotta say. Nice things.
I've seen the trailer for Child's Play. You've seen the trailer for Child's Play. It's a remake of the 1988 film. Mm-hmm. Now, there is a situation with the Child's Play franchise. You know, the original was directed by Tom Holland, who did Fright Night. Mm-hmm. It is owned by a different studio than who owns... Then what is making the films done by Don Mancini. Now, The Child's Play story was originally called Blood Brothers, and it was written by Don Mancini, who, starting with Seed of Chucky, began directing the films. Mm-hmm. And he is now working on a TV series, which is coming out this year, a Child's Play TV series. And the story is continuing to go on. Like, they're bringing back Kyle from part 2. Mm-hmm. They've got,
I liked Kyle from part 2. She was cool.
Yeah, and Don Mancini, they offered to let him be a part of this. He said absolutely not, because it's going to screw up his work. Because if this does well, it could make it to where, his future projects get canceled. And he's still actively making Chucky content. Jennifer Tilly, who plays Tiffany, absolutely does not want anything to do with this movie. She said she's not seeing it. Brad Dourif, who is Chucky from the beginning, he's like, absolutely not. Fuck that movie. Fuck them for treading on Don Mancini's turf.
Exactly. This kind of reminds me because last year we got a reboot of Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich. It's a complete reboot, but Full Moon is still going to be making their own Puppet Master movies that continue from what they do. They'll just keep making it while this new group makes new Puppet Master movies. That's kind of the situation we're getting with Child's Play here, because Don Mancini is going to keep doing what he wants to do with telling his story. While now we have a reboot, and if it does well, it might get sequels.
Here's the thing. They are changing it up a bit, and I don't necessarily know if I like the way they're changing it up. This new doll is a buddy doll. He is not a good guy doll.
Yeah.
It is a doll that has like AI. Like it can scan your face, and it's supposed to be really intelligent and stuff. So I think initially they're not going to be surprised when the doll is able to do a lot of shit, because it's supposed to do a lot of shit. Obviously, the doll goes crazy. From the trailer, it looks like there's a lot of blood and mayhem. It looks like they're not adding any kind of a humorous tone to it. I mean, I haven't even heard the doll's voice, but it looks like a straight-up horror. We saw, like, Audrey Plaza towards the end all tied up and stuff. But I know a lot of you guys love this trailer. I know this is probably an unpopular opinion. I saw that trailer, and I thought it looked like soulless trash.
I saw it, and I said, well, it's not the worst reboot from what I can tell. Like, I'm going to watch this, and I probably will think a lot of other reboots are way worse. But it also doesn't look amazing to me. It actually looks like it's kind of like a Black Mirror take on it with the whole AI thing. And maybe I would like a Black Mirror episode similar to this more than I would like this movie.
Yeah, like Felix said, it's like Evil My Buddy. And according to Tom Cruise, there's a movie called Charles, which is another Chucky movie that's coming out this year. I haven't heard anything about that, but I do know about the TV series. But yeah, I watched the trailer and it looked glossy. It looked way too pretty. It looked way too big budget. It just looked like a movie that you pop out to make some cash. It doesn't look like anything with any passion in it. It doesn't look like anything with any real storytelling or originality. Honestly, I'm not going to have a hard pass on this one. I'll freaking watch it when it comes out to rent. I won't go see this in the theater. I don't want to support this because this is Don Mancini's baby. This is his vision. He is still actively making these movies. And I think that this is a huge just disrespect to him as a filmmaker.
I agree. And in fact, I'm going to put this off and not watch it until I get my first episode of the show.
Absolutely.
If this like somehow derails the show from it's supposed to be on the Sci-Fi Channel. They say Chucky still can drop the F-bombs even on Sci-Fi Channel. And that seems like it's going to work out for the channel.
Let's look whose hands this is in. The director is Lars Klevberg, who did Polaroid, which was supposed to come out last year and is supposedly so great that it's been postponed to this year.
We did a trailer reaction for that, 2 years ago almost?
I don't trust this filmmaker. I don't trust the direction they're going with this movie. I'm not excited for this at all. I think the trailer looked bad. Fuck this movie. I'm not seeing it.
The trailer to me
not my Chucky.
It looked so generic reboot. It didn't look horrible to me, but at the same time, it didn't look like it earned it. Like, there's no reason to make this. Like, there's no justification. It isn't that good. It looks like it's gonna be okay, but at the same time, that isn't enough. We already have the Chucky series going, and unless you could really blow me away with it, it ain't enough to justify it. Like I said, I'm gonna make sure the show comes out first when I get my first episode. Hell yeah, Horizon! Seriously,
he says the Chuckinator will be back. Hopefully, never laugh out loud. I love the Chucky movies. It's one of my favorite franchises. I know Seed of Chucky sucked, and that's okay.
Drake was talking to me earlier, and he said that one of the things he hated about Chucky, Seed of Chucky, was that they were animatronic robots. And now that this one is kind of the same thing, he's like, yep, it's going to be probably even worse than that.
So Chase says Polaroid got hit by the Weinstein issue, and that's why it's not been released. So I guess that makes me feel a little bit better, but still, this is a new filmmaker. Honestly, the best way they could have gotten me on board is if they got Tom Holland to come back. Then I would have been like, I love Don Mancini's work. I want to support him, but I love Tom Holland.
That would have made me... I would be divided, yeah. That would divide me a little more.
Right now, I'm not conflicted. I do like Audrey Plaza. That's the only thing I think this has going for it.
That's why I started with that. I say the nice thing first. I love Audrey Plaza. I want to see it just because of her. But at the same time, I'm going to make sure I get my TV show first.
So I'm not judging you guys who are excited about this. I know so many of you are, and I really hope you have a good time. I hope it's everything that you hope it's going to be. For me, this is just not for me.
Once I get my TV show, I'll check it out and hope that it's just kind of a Black Mirror twist on Child's Play.
I'm going to rent it. I don't really want to put money in the studio's pockets for this one.
Exactly. Now
Shall we move on?
Sequels. We're getting a lot of sequels to movies that were a long time ago, and this one is going to be on there as well.
Sequels and remakes.
Sequels and remakes to old movies.
So the next one we're going to talk about is 3 from Hell.
Which is the third in the House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. Which is funny because they came to a Crypticon that we were at a convention just a couple of years ago, and I believe they were all talking about how they would probably never get a sequel to this because they all die in the end of it.
I want to know how they're alive. What the hell?
I noticed that Danny Trejo is coming back and Dallas Page. Diamond Dallas Page, the master of the diamond cutter. You might want to call it an arcade out of nowhere, but it was always called the diamond cutter in my day. I always wanted a third movie. I wanted a spin-off of Danny Trejo and Diamond Dallas Page's character because they are my favorite characters in the Devil's Rejects. And I'm glad that they're at least coming back for this. We got Sid Haig coming back, Sherry Moon Zombie, and Bill Moseley, even though they were all shot to death at the end of the first movie, but I guess.
And it still says plot unknown for this. Chase did say in regards to Child's Play, which we just finished discussing, that Aubrey does whatever she's interested in, which is where his interest lies. I do like Aubrey Plaza. I even liked her in the Grumpy Cat movie. So that's, for me, the biggest thing it has going for it.
Why I watched the Grumpy Cat.
I love
That's why I
Parks
bought
and
the Grumpy Cat movie. I paid like $5 for it, but I bought it because of Aubrey Plaza.
I will see that movie. I'm just going to wait for rental. Unless you guys tell me it's like mind-blowingly good. Then maybe you can convince me.
I don't know. I think I'm going to try and hold out until I get my show.
But with 3 from Hell, we've got the original cast back. We've got Sherry Moon Zombie. We've got Bill Moseley. We've got Sid Haig. Clint Howard's going to be here. Richard Brake. Dee Wallace. Danny Trejo. Dallas Page. So many regulars that we see in a lot of zombie films. Yeah, it is what it is. Again, unpopular opinion. I feel like if you like Rob Zombie movies, you love Rob Zombie movies. I am not a big Rob Zombie movie fan.
I'm not either, but The Devil's Rejects is my favorite movie. However, The House of a Thousand Corpses is probably my least favorite movie.
And that's funny, because I have unpopular opinions about Rob Zombie movies, because I do like House of a Thousand Corpses. Devil's Rejects didn't have enough horror in it for me. Unpopular opinion.
It was a little Pulp Fiction-y to me, but that's why I liked it.
Lords of Salem I thought was really good.
That was right.
I didn't care for the Halloween one so much.
No.
So they're kind of hit and miss for me. This could be really good. I know people love these characters. I know people love Devil's Rejects. And I will have to say, I did watch Devil's Rejects on a really bad date. I kind of need to rewatch that one.
I'll take you a good time. We'll watch
Thanks.
it. But
so I need to rewatch that one under better circumstances, and maybe I'll see why you guys love it so much. But I know you guys love this. I'm really excited for fans of this franchise to get another film.
When House of a Thousand Corpses came out, I remember seeing previews of it, and it got delayed for about 5 years, it seemed like. Finally came out. I was super excited. I was very disappointed. Then Devil's Rejects came out. The bar was low for me. I ended up really liking it. However, there was some weird changes, like Bill Moseley wasn't an albino anymore. They had some other things that, like, just continuity errors. Now with them supposedly being dead at the end of the second movie, is this a...
I know they're going... A lot of it's in prison.
Okay.
And we've seen a couple screenshots from this film.
So I guess
they're being sent to prison from what I understand.
They didn't die despite being mowed down by bullets. That's fine. It's fine. It's just weird, but
are they supernatural?
I don't know.
I don't know. I thought 31 was pretty good too. See, that's another one where I feel like 31 got a lot of hate, and I thought Sherry Moon Zombie was actually really good in that.
Yeah, her arc was interesting at least.
It wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Devil's Rejects was my favorite, mostly because of Trejo and Page. They're both coming back, so I'm excited. That's all I can say.
Sorry, I'm yawning. Blah, 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 blah.
For those that are it's way later in their timeline than ours.
All right, so moving right along, because I don't have a whole lot else to say about 3 from Hell, unless you do.
No.
Annabelle is coming back for another movie, Annabelle 3. Directed by Gary Dauberman. I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry.
3 Annabelles from Hell.
He's never done another movie. This is his first film. It does, of course, have Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga in it, who are from the Conjuring franchise. And this one's going to be specifically about Lorraine and Ed Warren. It's going to be about how they acquired the Annabelle doll. They put it in their artifact room. They believe it can cause no harm, and then it starts to terrorize their 10-year-old daughter.
Okay.
Their daughter is going to be played by McKenna Grace, she's going to be in Captain Marvel, and she was just in The Bad Seed last year, which I thought was really good.
See, the first Annabelle kind of teased this. Because she got out of her case, remember? But then they kind of just quickly put her back in, and I was like, oh. See, Annabelle...
And they even had a call from their daughter, I think, in Conjuring 2.
Yeah, so they've been teasing this. And Annabelle, I would say, was my favorite part of the first Conjuring movie. Then she got her own movie, and that was shit. And then the second movie was okay.
Part 2 wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. It was just like, okay.
So I'm nervous about this being handed to a brand new director. That could mean it's really great. Sometimes first-time directors are fantastic, but I feel like this franchise has all been about getting that dollar, about getting that, teenagers going off to have like a scary date night type thing or going out with a bunch of buddies. I don't feel like the emphasis has ever been on strong storytelling, strong filmmaking. It's a jump scare thing, and they've been hit or miss. Some of them have been entertaining. I liked Annabelle too. I haven't liked the Conjuring movies. I kind of liked The Nun.
The Nun was entertaining. It wasn't great, but it was entertaining.
But new director, it's being a third in a franchise is not always the best.
And the Warrens I don't like the Warrens.
I hate the Warrens.
So the fact that they're like kind of front and center here, makes me grit my teeth.
And it's just, I'm pagan.
They're so preachy.
They're very Christian. They're very preachy. They're very witchist.
And the real Warrens, I don't believe them at all. So
yeah, they're full of crap.
Yeah.
But they're very witchist. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Thoughts on Annabelle 3?
Movie's probably gonna be a turd if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't anticipate this being good. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a skip it for me. I'll check it out when it comes out in VOD. What next?
What we got? The Grudge reboot?
It is a reboot. Reboot.
But I like the Sam Raimi Grudge.
What's interesting about this one is, okay, so the Grudge, Balls. Is it Takashi? No, it's not Takashi Miike. Balls. Hold on, let me check up something really quick. Talk to the chat for a sec.
What are they saying here? Second Annabelle movie was better. It was probably the best of those type of movies. I still didn't like it a whole lot, but it was a lot better. I watched a poop called 31. Yeah.
Okay, Takashi Shimizu has done The Grudge from the beginning. So originally it was a TV movie. And then the TV movie got a sequel. Yeah. Then he made a theatrical release in Japan, and then that one got a sequel. And then he did the American version that was produced by Sam Raimi. And now I think there's 7 altogether. Because he continued the franchise in Japan. So he's been involved from the beginning. This is the first time, aside from I think some of the later sequels, and of course Sadako versus Kayako, where there has been a version of the original Grudge that he was not attached to.
Yeah, Sadako versus Kayako, Ring versus Grudge, basically, now, for anybody who doesn't know that.
Sam Raimi is still on as a producer, cool. And it's crediting Takashi Shimizu as a writer, but I believe that's because it's based on his screenplay. I don't believe he's actually involved in this project in any capacity.
I think they have to at that point.
Now, this is an American remake of the movie. It's going to have Andrea Riseborough in it, who was in Mandy. She was also in, she was Mandy, and she was also in the Crocodile episode of Black Mirror. It's got John Cho in it, who he blew me away last year in Searching.
Okay, yeah.
Got Lin Shaye in it because, of course it does, because she's in fucking everything.
Yeah.
I got William Sadler in it, who I think is fantastic, because I want him in as much stuff as he can be in before he's ready to just call it good with his career and retire.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I'm most excited about this one is it's directed by Nicholas, we're going to say Nicholas P. Pesce? But he did Eyes of My Mother, which was a really haunting, just really good, scary movie. He did a fantastic job with that one. I still haven't seen Piercing, but I hear it's good, and I want to see that. I do like the book is based on, but I know he really enjoys a lot of this genre, J-horror.
Yeah, Eyes of My Mother, I felt it was a little slow, but The Grudge is a little slow too. It's good, though. Like, that's not a bad thing. It's just the way the story kind of plays out.
Oh, balls. This was on my list, but you're right. It was pushed to 2020. Oh, well. Well, that's my most anticipated for 2020. There you go.
In case maybe it'll just get rushed down.
Something else got pushed recently too, and I was like, "When the crap's that coming out?" And I saw it just got pushed. It was the Nosferatu. That one got pushed too.
Okay.
Dang it. Well, it's coming in 2020, but I am excited to see that.
All right, another Stephen King one. Tall.
It's called In the Tall Grass. Now, I did read this one. I believe it was a novella. I listened to it on an audiobook that he did with his son, Joe Hill, who did Horns, who did Nosferatu, the one about the killer, the killer Christmas land thing. So this should be interesting. It's going to have Patrick Wilson, who I feel like he's just been in so much stuff lately. He's in Insidious. He's in Conjuring. He's just done a lot of horror lately.
I just think it's cool that they're letting him do the new Jurassic World movie. That's pretty awesome,
And they got James Marsden in it, who is Cyclops in the X-Men movies. And it's going to be directed by a director whose name I don't want to try to pronounce, who did he did Haunter, which I thought was really underrated. And I think he's best known for Cube and Splice.
Was great. I like Splice.
So that's cool.
It is Raptors, right?
Huh?
This is the Jurassic World, third movie.
No. So this one, as the description says, after hearing a young boy's cry for help, a sister and a brother venture into the tall grass in Kansas and soon discover that there's no way out. This isn't a very long story, so my biggest concern here is how are they going to fill an entire movie? But they've managed to do that before with even less. I mean, The Lawnmower Man is a relatively short story.
Children of the Corn wasn't that long. And
yeah.
Is this He Who Walks Behind the Rose?
No, it's not.
It's not a Children of the Corn.
It's not a Children of the Corn anything.
Okay.
It's just kind of like they stop on the side of the road. They think they hear a kid crying for help in the tall grass, and they go out there, and it's not what they anticipate.
It's raptors.
Maybe it's raptors. I don't know.
We saw the last.
I don't know. I mean, I do
movie.
know because I read the book or I listened to the audiobook, but I'm not going to tell you guys. I think the poster looks pretty rad. I'm looking forward to a trailer, but I'm excited to see James Marsden. Something haven't seen him in a while. I think the filmmaker's good. I really just always, I think, look forward to a Stephen King adaptation.
Oh yeah, it's probably going to be good. It might not be great, but it'll probably be good at least. Then again, it could be amazing. We'll see.
And Jay Nace here asked if anyone has seen The Void. We have seen The Void. Very good Lovecraftian movie that you can check out on Netflix.
Yes, I enjoy The Void.
All right, moving on. Where are we on our list? We're getting close to the end here.
There it is on the list. I was talking about it earlier.
We're getting there.
We'll get there. All right.
So we're going to talk about The Turning. There's not a whole lot about this out yet, but it does have Mackenzie Davis in it, whom I really liked. She was in the San Junipero episode of Black Mirror.
Blade
she was
Runner.
in The Martian. She was in Tully. I really like that actress. It's got Finn Wolfhard in it, who is
I liked her in Freaks of Nature.
what's his face? Finn Wolfhard. He's the Iron Fist. Wait, no.
He's a little kid.
Finn
Played
Wolfhard.
Richie.
God, my God. He's in Stranger Things, and he's in It Chapter 1 and 2.
Isn't he Richie?
Yeah, he's Richie.
He's trash mouth.
Yeah. I don't know why I said Iron Fist. I was thinking Stranger Things, and I don't know.
I don't know why you thought Iron Fist.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Danny Rand, your fave.
I don't know. Fuck that guy. Anyhow, so this is based on the famous novella, The Turn of the Screw. The story revolves around a young woman who becomes the nanny of two orphans who live in a haunted country mansion. It's a very famous story that I haven't read, but I hear it's supposed to be one of the scariest stories of all time.
Taming of the Shrew? Yeah, that's probably really scary.
Not the Taming of the Shrew.
Turn of the Screw.
Turn of the Screw, bro.
Taming of the Shrew is very scary, though.
We've got a female director here who is also the director of The Runaways.
Okay,
But she hasn't done a whole lot, but I'm
I like The Runaways, though.
Yeah, I liked it. I think she did a good job. I'm excited to see this. I like Mackenzie Davis. Finn Wolfhard's good.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I don't know anybody else in it, but we'll check it out. Actually, you know what? Balls on my chin. This one's coming out in 2022. So you know what? Fuck it.
You're going to get a couple 2020s in
Most
this list.
anticipated 2020, because I didn't check to see if any of these had been pushed back further.
Most anticipated for the next 2 years.
There you go. Balls. Balls on my chin.
Shit we haven't seen yet.
All right, let's talk about Corporate Animals. This one is coming out in 2019 because I checked.
New Mexico.
And it's directed by Patrick Bryce, who is the director of Creep and Creep 2.
And it stars Demi
and Creep
Moore.
3.
So I haven't seen Demi Moore do anything in a little while. I mean, I'm not saying she hasn't. I just haven't seen her do anything.
I haven't seen her in anything for a while either. It's also got Ed Helms in it, who I really love from The Office. I don't recognize... oh my god, Britney Spears is in this? Last time I saw her in a movie was Crossroads.
Yeah, she was on How I Met Your Mother. That was a TV show.
Yeah. So it says, disaster strikes when the egotistical CEO of an edible cutlery company... What?
Edible cutlery company.
Okay, so it's like edible knives and forks. Leads her long-suffering staff on a corporate team-building trip in New Mexico. Trapped underground, this mismatched and disgruntled group must pull together to survive.
It kind of reminds me of that, what was that British movie where they all go on a team building and then they, like, get attacked?
Severed?
Severed, yes.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that. But it's got Demi Moore and Britney, bitch. It's Britney.
Yeah, so that could be interesting. The reason I'm kind of excited for this is it doesn't have a poster, but it does have a picture. If you check it out on Letterboxd, it's called Corporate Animals. And the picture is this woman. It looks like she's got one of those,
I think it's Demi Moore.
I think it is too. She's got like these pigtails and she's got this crazy mask on.
And she's looking between like a V-shaped rock.
Yeah, I think it looks creepy. So...
You had me at just the fact that it's got Ed Helms, Demi Moore, and Britney Spears.
Good cast.
I don't know if it's good cast, but it's interesting.
Well, it's a cast I enjoy. Let's put it that way.
Entertaining cast.
And the plot sounds good. I think I don't know. I think it looks good. I want to see a trailer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Severed was fun. As
Severed was fun. Severed was great. So that's why. All right, now this one.
We are moving along.
This one, it could be really good because it's actually directed by Todd McFarlane.
Spawn.
I liked the old Spawn movie from the 90s, but
it's crap.
It's
crap on a cracker.
I still like it, but it is crap on the crap. The horrible CGI.
It had a killer soundtrack, though.
It did. A lot of things in the 90s did, though.
I know, right?
Because the 90s had good music. Sorry to anybody
So,
who's
Spawn coming out this year, directed by Todd McFarlane, who did the comics. He's been in charge of, like, the action figures and stuff for it.
And Spawn, well, he's the creator of...
Yeah, but he actually had a hand in designing the figures.
Yeah, he had... That's why I love it. He also does, like, Freddy
hands-on.
Krueger and other kind of cool figures. He has his own toy line, and it's great. But he also created Spawn. It was probably the most... the biggest...
Tony says the original Spawn was garbage, and Tony's smart.
It is garbage. It's hot garbage. I like it, though. It's funny. It's entertaining. It's bad, but I enjoy it.
I don't know. The little clown John Leguizamo.
He's on his knees, and he's in a fat suit.
Bad.
It was...
Such bad CGI.
It is. But we got Jamie Foxx playing Spawn this time. That's cool.
And he's very talented. I know a lot of you might have a bad taste in your mouth after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but he is a very talented actor, and I think he's a great choice.
I think he is a great choice for
We
Spawn.
also have motherfucking Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah.
You know how I feel about Hawkeye. Fuck Hawkeye.
He's the best superhero ever, so he should be in this movie.
Fuck Hawkeye! I don't know why he's in the Avengers. He doesn't even have any powers. But I digress. It's not Jeremy Renner's fault, so maybe this will be okay.
He's the heart of the team. They wouldn't be nothing without him. See, he wasn't in the last movie, and Thanos kicked their asses. He's gonna be in the next movie. And
what would Hawkeye have done?
He's gonna be in the next movie, and I bet you they're gonna win. I bet Hawkeye he's gonna tip the scales.
I don't know. I don't think it's his fault, but every time I see Jeremy Renner in a movie, it tends to suck every ball ever.
Velma's his wife. You should be proud.
like her.
Yeah. All right.
She
Anyways,
can do better.
I'm looking forward to this Spawn because, like I said, I enjoy the original '90s. That was crap. I enjoy it, but it never did the movie or like the comic justice. Todd McFarlane is like going at it. This is gonna be a hard R from what he says, and I think it's finally going to
Todd
get...
McFarlane's writing it, too, and producing it.
He's pretty much completely in charge of it, which is good, because it is his property. He put, as far as I think, Dark Horse on the map of comics. This was like one of the most successful comics ever, and it didn't come from Marvel or DC. And when it kind of ended, hate to say it, that Dark Horse kind of fell back down into their third...
They did good with Buffy and
They
Angel
did, but they were still way back down after they kind of boomed, and then they're like, all right, they need to know their place under Marvel and DC. Sadly.
But Tom Cruise says Spawn's taking a back seat in this one.
Oh, is he?
I hadn't heard that yet. The description says NYPD Detective Twitch Williams investigates a series of grisly murder scenes perpetuated by the mysterious supernatural vigilante Spawn. So it looks like it's not being told from Spawn's point of view.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it won't be great.
But it's about Spawn. It's called Spawn, so I have hopes. And it looks like Jeremy motherfucking Hawkeye Renner is going to probably be this NYPD cop, Twitch Williams.
And as Tom Cruise pointed out, it's a budget thing because this is not probably going to be a big release blockbuster. It is probably going to hopefully give the fans that love Spawn kind of what they want. It's going to be a hard R like the comics were. And maybe if it does great...
Felix does not like Jamie Foxx. Is it because of Amazing Spider-Man 2, Felix? Tell us.
I hope not. Maybe Did you not grow up living in color? Because I grew up on a living color.
And do what you wanna do.
You should see her dance. She's like so fly girl. Make J-Lo.
Live in color.
But yeah, I don't know. If this movie does well, then I think they'll get the sequel with a better budget. Maybe then they can have it from...
He says McFarlane says Twitch is the main character. Fuck yeah, yay, more Renner. I don't know. You guys in the chat, like, let me know. I feel like everybody has that one actor or actress who just freaking grates on them.
It's like you're Dr. Cox and you're talking about Hugh Jackman then.
Yeah. How Dr. Cox is about Hugh Jackman, that's how I feel about Jeremy Renner. He just irritates me. He just irritates me in everything, and I don't like Hawkeye anyway, so just fucking Jeremy Renner.
For those that watch Scrubs and get the reference I just made.
But you have one too, isn't it? Reese Witherspoon with you? I feel like everybody has one.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Reese Witherspoon, but oh well. Anyways, moving on. So this one I'm actually really excited about. I'm surprised it didn't show up higher on the list because I ranked these by popularity. But it's the Rabid remake. Now, the original Rabid was done by David Cronenberg. It's a I can't talk today. It's a body horror. And this one's going to be directed by the Soska sisters, who they never disappoint. They did American Mary. They did See No Evil 2. They are very talented, and this one's going to be starring Laura Vanderhoot, who was she was in Jigsaw. Mm-hmm. She was Supergirl on Smallville, and she was also the star of the Bitten TV series. Yep, I like the original Rabid.
But... We're also going to have CM Punk in this, and Mackenzie Gray.
Yeah.
Isn't that who Benjamin Hollingsworth is?
No, it's not.
Maybe he's not in this. I heard he was in this, but I was
a rumor that CM Punk was going to be in this movie.
This is a different dude.
Maybe he's in it, but maybe it's a smaller part.
It doesn't look like he's the main guy.
Okay, well then maybe it might be good.
I don't think he is in this. I heard he was in it, but we got Benjamin Hollingsworth, this lady, Mackenzie Gray.
Yeah.
And this, that's him. Philip Jack Brooks.
Yep, that's CM Punk. Alright, so CM Punk is in this movie, but thank God, I was told he was getting, like, top bill.
Yeah,
he's not.
He is not top bill.
He will not be the boyfriend, it seems like.
The boyfriend is Benjamin Hollingsworth.
Okay. I might like it.
He doesn't even have a character listed to him yet.
Well, CM Punk's in this. I also hear that AJ Lee, his wife...
He's probably going to get killed.
There you go. I might actually enjoy it. When I first was told about Rabid being a remake, I'm like, oh, I like the original Rabid. Why are they redoing it? And then I heard that CM Punk was like, and I'm like... Oh, and then I heard he was like top bill, and I'm like,
he's not.
Okay, that part is fake.
All right,
he's in
so
it,
moving past CM Punk, because he's a very small part of this, I don't think we need to focus on his punky little butt.
Yeah.
This is about a woman who is with her boyfriend on a motorcycle. They're in an accident where she's scarred beyond recognition. They do an experimental restoration surgery to her, and it actually is very effective. But then she gets this weird little thing in her armpit that needs to eat, and she starts killing people.
Mm-hmm. The weird skin graft thing, but I love the original Rabid. And yes, the last time I saw it was when Joe Bob Briggs, Creepy Q. That's not the first time I saw it, but that's definitely the last time I watched it, very recently.
I don't think the poster looks great. I hope that isn't an indicative of the budget.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
But Laura Vanderhoot is good. I don't really know Benjamin Hollingsworth, but I love the Soska sisters. I mean, I feel like they do great work, and I really think it's important that we support female filmmakers, especially ones that we know are talented, like, these gals who did, American Mary, which is one of my favorites.
It's great. And See No Evil 2 is so much better than the first See No Evil. I do like the Soska sisters. I'm happy to check it out and support them.
Dead hooker in a trunk.
Twin Pool, the thing. Anyways, Creepy Q, as you were mentioning, I watched that recently too with Joe Bob. Anybody who has Shudder probably has. I feel like it's still kind of held up pretty well, but All right, I'll give for the Soska sisters. I'm willing.
I'm going to give it a chance. For me, the deciding factor is going to be how are they doing the effects? Because what made the original so good is it's all fantastic makeup and practical effects.
Mhm.
You don't need CGI to make this good.
No.
You can do all of the stuff you need in this practically. So as long as they don't try to, push some bad CGI down my throat, I'm on board.
Mm-hmm. So we're good with that then. It also had the original had the detective that was in Tusk. What was that guy's name? I can't remember it right now, but it's a guy that a lot of actors have played. Johnny Depp played him in Tusk, but it's like this weird French. It's a weird French character that's been in lots of different movies and played by lots of different actors. All right, as we were talking about earlier, Ariel, the reboot for Are You Afraid of the Dark? Maybe they are looking at that Goosebump money, because Goosebumps have been successful, and I liked Goosebumps. They're very silly. They're not very scary by any means, and we want scary stories to be better than that. I even want Afraid of the Dark to be a little scarier than that. But here we go, the reboot of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Now, this one's going to be directed by DJ Caruso, who did Disturbia, which I love, but he's also had a lot of duds. He did Taking Lives. He did The Disappointment Room.
G.I. Joe
He did
movie.
Eagle Eye. He's done a lot of duds. I don't feel like, he's a very strong filmmaker, but that doesn't mean that this isn't going to be a good movie. I have seen stills of this on Twitter. That look pretty interesting. It says it's a feature film based on the Nickelodeon series in which campfire tales were told by a group of teens who called themselves the Midnight Society. The stories range from modern tales, cakes and fairy tales, to stories involving creatures such as vampires and aliens. I'm curious to see how do they do this. Is it going to be like Goosebumps where they try to mesh them all together? Is it going to be like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? Is it going to be an anthology? There's not a whole lot of information right now. We don't even know who's going to be in this. I'm very curious to see what becomes of this one, but I loved the old show. I used to watch this on Snick all the time. Yeah,
Snick was a big part of my childhood. I loved the Goosebump books, but the Goosebump TV show, I still watched it, but it was way, way campy, way silly. I always felt that Are You Afraid of the Dark was a better version and a stronger show. So maybe there'll even be a better, stronger movie.
And I love Are You Afraid of the Dark, but part of me is hesitant to be on board with this one because it's not going to have the cast I remember. It's not going to be what it was, which was like an after
school. The Midnight Society is all grown up now.
Yeah, so. They're all grown up.
Maybe
I don't know. I guess if they make it an anthology, it might be good. But anthologies are really hit and miss too.
Yeah,
I'm on the fence with this one, and I think I need to see a trailer. Hey, Geek Out Cinema's here.
So that was what I was always wondering when I first saw the trailer or heard they were making a Goosebumps movie. Anyways, I'm like, is it going to be anthologies or nope? They just threw everything in there together.
And William Ellman's here too, who's part of Horror Addicts Anonymous. He says he's looking to the Ari Aster, and Robert Eggers movies, which we talked about earlier on this stream. So go back and check out those if you want to hear more about those films. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Are You Afraid of the Dark? Right now, I'm inclined to say not that excited about it.
I'm excited to watch it with Walls. I'm gonna say that. That's about all I got going.
Here's another one that I think is very strange. So we have a sequel to 47 Meters Down called 47 Meters Down Uncaged.
The next chapter,
I feel like if you have a movie called Uncaged, you're doing us all a disservice by not having Nicolas Cage in it.
Or KG from Tenacious D.
But mostly Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he needs to be uncaged.
Absolutely.
He was a big part of last year.
So if you remember 47 Meters Down, it had Mandy Moore in it and her sister, and they're going to go in a shark cage dive type thing, and then the cage breaks and they're stuck at the bottom of the ocean, and then they need to find a way to get to the surface. So this is the sequel. It has the same director, Johannes Roberts. It's about 5 backpackers diving in a ruined underwater city who quickly learn that they are not alone in the submerged caves. I'm assuming, because this is 47 meters down, there are sharks down there.
Sharks down there, and, well, they're just deep under the water, and I think because they're in caves, they can't get back up.
About the only cast member on this I recognize is John Corbett, who was in Sex and the City, but... Yeah, I don't know anybody who's in this. I just recognize the filmmaker from the first one. I'm inclined to say this sounds like a cheap cash grab.
It seems like just, hey, we had kind of a successful movie. Because I like the first 47 things now.
How is it even still 47 meters down, unless the city also happens to be 47 meters down? But
well, it's like how the new Open Waters, they won't have anything to do with each other. It's just, it is what it is. I think it's going to be like that.
It seems like a cash grab. It seems like a cheap cash grab.
I feel like they had a movie script and they said, will it be part 2 of that just to sell it? I think like the script was probably just written. It could have been any shark or underwater movie, but they're like, well, let's put 47 meters down on it because people liked the first one.
Fuego's here. Hey, Fuego.
Sup, buddy? But I think, yeah, I feel like the first one was just successful, so they took any shark water movie they had and threw that title on it.
And that is why sequels have a bad name, because a lot of studios do this, and then it sours us on sequels when there actually are really quite a few good sequels out there.
It might not be bad, but I feel like that's all they did. They had a script for a movie. It could have been any movie. It could have been called anything. It could have been called Under Cave or Cave Waters or some shit. But they just said, you know what, we're going to throw a title on there because that will make people want to see it.
Doesn't have any of the same cast or anything, so I'm going to say not interested.
I would just think that just because they couldn't get up because they were stuck in the cage in the first movie, this time they're lost in the caves and that's why they can't get up. But it could be good, but it could also be shit.
The next one there's very little information on, but it's going to be Wolf Creek 3. All we know about this one is John Jarrett is in it. It's directed by the same guy who directed Wolf Creek 1 and 2, who also did Rogue and Jungle and the Belko Experiment. That's Greg McLean.
I love the Belko Experiment.
It's supposed to come out this year. The poster looks like, I don't know, the poster does not look good. Hopefully that's not the final poster.
I think that might just be an early work poster, but we'll see.
But there's no details on this one. This is a movie they've been talking about for a really long time. So, I don't know. I mean, Wolf Creek was pretty good. Wolf Creek 2 was okay. Yeah, I'll see it. Yeah. I don't know if I have the highest of expectations without getting a little more information on the plot and stuff.
I really liked Belko, and I don't mind the Wolf Creek movies, so it'll probably be pretty good. I'm not super excited about it.
I'm not super excited about it, though, no.
Beelzebub.
So... I keep yawning.
Not Beelzebub. Beelzebub.
But yeah, John Jarrett is great, and I saw him in Boar last year. He was great.
Boar was fun.
So now we're going to talk about a film called Beelzebub, which is by Emilio Portes. He hasn't done anything that I've seen. This movie comes out this year. It's on the poster. We got a baby pram, and it looks very supernatural.
A lot of upside down crosses on the wall.
Yeah, I'm getting an Omen vibe, guys.
Very Omen, kind of.
And it says, while leading a police investigation of a massacre in a public school at the border of Mexico and the USA, Special Agent Emmanuel Ritter links this strange case to the coming and rising of an ancient demon, Beelzebub. Is that like from Tenacious D?
Not Beelzebub. So.
Ritter shall have to confront himself before dealing with the forces of good and evil. Doesn't sound like the most original plot. It's got Tobin Bell in it from who played Jigsaw.
That's the only person I recognize.
I don't really recognize anybody else. I don't really know the filmmaker. I believe, this is a Spanish movie.
It might be a good foreign language film to check out, but
we'll have to see.
I'm getting a very Omen kind of Rosemary Baby sequel type vibe from it.
My biggest complaint so far is it doesn't sound terribly original.
No, by any means.
But it could still be good, so it's on my radar.
An original doesn't always mean good either, so.
Now, here's one I'm super freaking stoked for, guys.
If it's actually coming out. I'm skeptical here.
Suck my balls because it's coming out.
I'm afraid it might get pushed. There's very little
You're
about
pushed.
It. But anyways.
Your mom's pushed. All right, the return of the killer clowns from outer space. From what I know about this movie, there's not a lot of information on Letterboxd, but I have been reading up on this movie. Okay. It's being made by the same people who made Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It is coming out this year. From what I understand, though, it's going to be a sci-fi movie. Okay. I don't know for sure, but that's what I've heard. I just really want to see some more Killer Clowns and Evil Cotton Candy. So that's supposed to come out this year. I think it's supposed to come out later this year, though, like in the fall.
I love the original. And since it's being made by the same guy, it's probably going to be good. Sci-fi movies are usually not good.
I don't know for sure, but I think that's what I heard somewhere.
They have a few hits.
If you guys can confirm that, let me know.
And it also depends more on the director and stuff. So, I don't know. If it comes out, I'm going to see it.
It's got the same filmmaker, and how can you go wrong? That movie is so much fun.
It's been so long.
Yeah, exactly. We're long overdue for more Killer Clowns.
We are, but I love all the crazy, fun, practical puppeteering and stuff that movie had.
I know.
If this is just a sci-fi CGI fest,
they're going to have to remake the Killer Clowns, though, because they ended up using their costumes and redoing them as trolls for Ernest Scared Stupid.
I know, so I'm afraid if this is just a CGI movie...
It ain't going to be CGI. It's not the same filmmaker. He wouldn't do that to us.
I hope not.
Dude, why you gotta rain on my clown parade? Don't rain on my clown parade.
Send in the clowns.
Yeah, send in the clowns.
They get out of the little
not
car.
the CGI.
They get out of the little car. They start parading, and here comes the CGI rain on them.
Screw this hater. I am stoked. This sounds amazing. It's got to be one of my most anticipated of the year. Give me this movie. Just take my freaking money.
You're saying...
Yeah, Fuego says Sci-Fi is doing Critters and Killer Clowns. I believe Critters is going to be a TV show. And isn't Sci-Fi also doing the Chucky show?
They didn't make it, but that's where it's going to be syndicated, and they said that Chucky can still drop the F-bomb. All that really matters as long as it stays uncensored in a sense, so... I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. I haven't seen any actual footage or pictures or anything, so...
You know what? You just gotta have faith, okay?
You gotta have faith.
Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not coming. I don't need to see pictures and stuff of Killer Clowns to have faith that I'm gonna get it. Because I'm gonna get it.
Sometimes you just don't see it coming.
Exactly.
Alright, let's move on.
Sometimes it just ends up in your hair.
Oh.
Alright, let's talk about Crawl. Now this one's gonna be by Alexandra Blaja, who gave us Horns and The Hills of Eyes and Piranha, and my favorite of his movies is High Tension. He's a French filmmaker, very talented. I've enjoyed everything I've seen that he's done. This one is about somebody who, while struggling to save their father during a Category 5 hurricane, finds herself trapped inside a flooding house and is fighting for her life against Florida's most savage and feared predators. So I think this sounds pretty cool.
Tony?
There's going to be crocodiles,
It says Florida's most savage and feared predator. Tony?
Chupacabra, man. Chupacabra.
Oh.
So, yeah, we've got a lot of people in this movie. We've got the gal who was in the Maze Runner films. We got Barry Pepper, who was in Saving Private Ryan.
3 Mile. True Grit.
Nobody I'm super excited for, but I think with this one, I'm mostly interested in the plot. And of course, I'm a fan of Alexandra Aja's work.
And of course, Barry Pepper was the lead in Battlefield Earth.
Yep, that's exactly what he wants on his tombstone.
Barry Pepper is a great actor. Alright, so... yeah, I don't know, I mean... I love Piranha's remake, I love The Hills Have Eyes remake. Mirrors was pretty good, Horns was great. I have no reason to think this won't be.
For the filmmaker alone, I'm excited for this, and I think it sounds like an interesting plot. I have seen one other movie called Crawl, and this is not that movie. That one was by Harrison Smith. But this sounds pretty original, and I enjoy a good... human versus nature type film.
I assume the title is referring to the gators that crawl on their belly.
Well, it sounds like she's going to have to crawl through this house, like through the water and stuff.
Okay.
She's like trapped inside this flooded house.
Crawl and swim.
Yeah, to go save her dad. So, yeah, I think it sounds really good. It sounds original. Sounds fun. Sounds suspenseful.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll probably be good.
Boom. Let's move on to the next movie on our list. It's gonna be directed by Oz Perkins, who is...
I don't think he did P2.
What? No, he didn't.
Madison.
He didn't. But Oz Perkins is, of course, Anthony Perkins of Psycho's son. Oz Perkins has done a lot of horror lately. He did I'm the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, and I think his better movie was The Black Coat's Daughter.
I don't really care for either of
He's
those
also
movies.
working on Head Full of Ghosts, which is an adaptation of Paul Tremblay's book.
Okay.
But what I think is Oz Perkins' strongest characteristic is he does great atmosphere. He does great tone. I think his plots can be a little hard to follow sometimes. I think the pacing tends to run on the slow side.
And I love how he's mixing it up by calling it Gretel and Hansel instead of Hansen and Gretel.
Yeah, this is going to be called Gretel and Hansel. It's a faithful version of the Brothers Grimm's fairy tale about a pair of siblings, I cannot talk today, trapped by a terrifying witch who lives in the woods surrounding their house. So already you know what I'm going to say. It sounds witches to its whole
Probably will be.
It's going to be witches, dude. This is not going to make my people look good, but I bet it's going to be creepy. I bet it's going to be scary. I don't know. It's going to have the gal who played Sophie Lillis, who played Beverly in It Chapter 1 in it. So it's got that going for it. But I don't really recognize anybody else in it. I think if you're a Brothers Grimm fan, if you're an Oz Perkins fan, this is going to be right up your alley. Oz Perkins has been kind of hit or miss for me, but he doesn't have a huge body of work for me to really make a definitive opinion on him.
For me, I hope in this third time the charm. I didn't care for the 2 movies.
I kind of liked Pretty Thing That Lives in the House.
I didn't say it was bad.
A lot of people didn't, though. I liked it.
I don't think either.
And I liked Blackcoat's Daughter a lot.
I thought the story of Blackcoat's Daughter was pretty good, but I didn't like the movie that much. I thought Pretty Little Thing That Lives in a House was a cool story once again, but just a little too slow for me. I don't know. That's just how I feel. It wasn't bad, though. It wasn't bad. It's just not my cup of tea, in a sense. So I'm hoping that this one maybe speeds it up a little bit. I mean, it's fairy tale. We've all heard and read books on and seen other movies on. It's been done a lot of times.
And them calling it Gretel and Hansel makes me think
they switched
maybe
it up.
it's going to be, maybe they're going to try and do something different with this.
Maybe
Even though
Gretel
it says
will be
it's
a
a
little...
faithful version. Maybe they mean faithful like a version we haven't seen yet because they tend to water down those fairy tales.
Or maybe just because Hansel and Gretel, if you look that up, you'll find...
Hansen? Like Mbop?
No, Hansel and Gretel. If you look
that Hansel's so hot right now.
Yeah. Hansel and Gretel, if you look that up, you're going to get like 9 movies. So maybe they call it Gretel and Hansel just so that way.
Or maybe they just want to separate themselves from like some of the crappier ones.
That's what I'm saying. So many of those movies are shit. And they don't want to like, when you go look it up on IMDb, they'll have to like wade through the water of those movies. So that's probably what my take on why they changed it. But let's
move on to a movie called You Should Have Left. This is going to be by David Koepp. Yep, I don't know. He's the filmmaker who brought us Secret Window and Stir of Echoes. He also brought us Ghost Town. So I don't have a lot of faith in him, but he has made good films in the past. This one's going to star Kevin Bacon and Amanda Seyfried. And it's about a screenwriter who retreats to a remote house in the Alps to work on a sequel to his hit film and begins to lose his bearings due to unexplained occurrences.
Kevin Bacon, who was also in Stir of Echoes, I guess they must have...
He needs to just keep doing movies so I can continue to have fodder for the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game.
Yeah, that game is going to eventually be dated if he doesn't keep making movies, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thoughts on that?
It doesn't look bad, but it don't look great.
I am on the fence. I don't really have an opinion at this point in time.
Exactly.
But throwing it out there, that's a movie that's coming out. All right. See you later, Maharit.
Take care.
So now we've got Megan. It's Megan with a 3 for the E, and it's directed by Gerard Johnstone, who brought us Housebound, which is a really great movie that you can catch on Netflix. Really original, really just awesome film. It's produced by James Wan and Jason Blum, so it's going to be a Blumhouse movie. And it's about a brilliant toy company roboticist who uses artificial intelligence to develop Megan, a lifelike doll programmed to emotionally bond with her newly orphaned niece. But when the doll's programming works too well, she becomes overprotective of her new friend with terrifying results.
So Child's Play. The same thing. Basically.
Not really, though, because Chucky never wanted to protect that kid. This is a doll that's been programmed to protect the little girl, but anything that happens to this girl...
Like, her parents probably can't even scold her.
This doll is extremely protective of this kid. So if this kid gets bullied, people gonna die. It's kind of makes me think more of Let the Right One In, but it's a robot doll.
Yeah, alright. So,
or Small Wonder.
It sounds a lot better than the Child's Play movie to me, honestly. It'll probably have, like, maybe a scary dog, like, barks and kind of chases the girl. The dog gets killed by the doll. Yeah. Her parents might start scolding her. They might start having problems. Kids at school might bully her. They'll get killed. Okay, I've seen the story a few times, but differently.
I'm more excited for this than the Child's Play movie.
Oh, I am too. It just sounds like it might be more entertaining.
So, what do you think? Are you excited to see it?
Yeah, I'll be okay with that.
Now, there's a movie coming out that I did a review on. It's called Norai the Curse by Koji Shiraishi. Mm-hmm. He also did Sadako vs. Kayako. He did Carved. Really big Japanese filmmaker. And he has a new movie coming out this year. So I'm really excited about that. It's called Hell Girl.
Is it in relation to Hellboy?
I don't think so.
No.
It's a Japanese film, and it's about tormented and bullied people who can access a special website run by a Hell Girl who will enable them to take revenge on their torturers. The price for such a service is only that the person must join their tormentor in damnation.
Oh.
I don't know, it sounds cool.
You can send your nemesis to hell, but you gotta go with them.
But yeah, this is called Hell Girl, and I think it sounds kind of cool.
It's an interesting concept.
It actually kind of fits like pagan beliefs, because like you can do curses on people, but whatever you send out, you get back threefold, even if you think you're justified. So in this,
consumes
it's like
you.
if you really hate somebody and you want to send somebody who's tormented and bullied you to hell, that's fine, but you got to go with them.
They've already put you in hell. Maybe it's worth to send them there too.
Maybe.
Some people are that spiteful, like, all right, well, I'm going down, but I'm dragging you with me. So I like the concept. I like his previous bodies of work.
Yeah, I like Norai. Norai's really creepy.
You've done reviews, and I've watched some of these movies with you. They're great. So, yeah, it'll probably be great.
I'm excited to see this. Hopefully, we get it in 2019 here. Sometimes when a movie comes out in Japan, we don't always get it that same year.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, I'm excited to see this. I think it sounds really cool. It sounds really original, and I like that because then I don't know what to expect from the film. Hopefully, it'll be really surprising.
Mm-hmm.
So, is this our last movie? Okay, our last movie is called An Occurrence at Mills Creek. This one's directed by Don Swanson, who hasn't really done much outside of a few, indie films. It says Cassandra awakens. Oh wait, this just got pushed back to 2020. Well, fuck that shit. I'm not gonna even tell you about that movie, but it's on Letterboxd. But I'll go ahead and read you the description. Cassandra awakens to a nightmare as her pleas to be seen and heard by her sister Clara are taken as supernatural occurrences. She finds herself weak and on display in a casket under the vigil of her elder sister, and she slowly begins to regain her strength. Her desperate attempts to be seen and heard are perceived as terrifying and unnatural occurrences. So basically, this girl wakes up in a coffin, and she's trying to say, hey, I'm alive, come help me, and everyone thinks it's like a ghost or something.
Zombie or some shit.
Yeah.
She might actually be dead.
So she's either dead, and it's her spirit communicating, and she doesn't realize that she's actually dead, or there's something else going on.
Either way, sounds pretty interesting.
It sounds interesting.
We'll see.
So that's coming out in 2020. That was a lot of movies, guys. Which ones are you most excited for?
Yeah, let us know. Like I said, I'm thinking about, I think for me, Zombieland 2.
Zombieland 2 for me. It Chapter 2. Us. Rabid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about, it doesn't come out in 2020. Godzilla. I should have, not closed it.
Yeah.
So let me take a look at the list again.
One last time.
The ones that we're most excited for.
Yeah, because that's what's coming out. What we just discussed is what's coming out. It's not exactly what we're
for me, it's It Chapter 2, Rabid. I'm on the fence about Pet Sematary. In the Tall Grass, Return to the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Us. Midsummer. Hellgirl. Scary Stories. Brightburn. And Dr. Sleep.
For me, Zombieland 2, Brightburn, Godzilla, maybe that, the one that has Britney Spears in it. Sounds funny with, Demi Moore.
Corporate Animals?
Demi Moore, yeah. Maybe that one. I don't know. I need to see a little more about
Godzilla, too.
Godzilla, Glass.
And I want to see New
And
Mutants.
Us. I want to see Us.
Yeah, I think Us is probably right now my most anticipated. That and It Chapter 2.
I think for me it's Zombieland 2, but Us is high.
And Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Once I see a little more on it. And Spawn for me, once I see a little more on that too.
But yeah. There's a lot of them that look good, but I think my favorites, the ones I'm really, really stoked about are Return of the Killer Clowns, It, and Us.
Me, Zombieland
and I'm getting more excited about Scary Stories too. The more I see little
and honestly,
I'm not Dr. Sleep. Dr. Sleep I'm excited about.
I'm actually pretty excited from 3 from Hell just because I want Diamond Dallas Page to get more work.
Absolutely. So, guys, let us know what you're most excited about. Ben Grimm says he's excited about New Mutants. Chase is excited about Hellgirl. I don't know if it's based on an anime, but that sounds like entirely something that it could be based on. Yeah, it looks like it is based on an anime according to Creepy Q, so thank you for that. Chase is excited for Scary Stories, Dr. Sleep, and because it's got Flanagan's name on it, and Us. So yeah, absolutely, I agree with all 3 of those, Chase. So
Nightmare on Elm Street, though, I believe that reboot won't come out until at least 2020 or more.
What's open 24 hours, Zachary? Oh, and that's another thing. Did we miss any movies you guys were excited about?
I'm pretty sure Nightmare on Elm Street ain't coming out this year, but I know that they are rebooting it once again.
I haven't seen anything for this year, and of course, things can always come out still.
I also hear
this is just what's been announced on Letterboxd.
I do hear that they are gonna actually make a Friday the 13th reboot since the Halloween did so well. But I don't think that's coming out this year either.
And the Jason Blum, I think it is, somebody said they want to make 10 sequels. So open 24 hours. Someone in the chat mentioned that Zachary Haith did. It is by a director whose name I would butcher, so I'm just going to skip that. But it's a director of Rites of Spring and Worry Dolls. I did see Worry Dolls. It was okay. Nothing like, mind-blowing. But it says, after setting her serial killer boyfriend on fire, a paranoid, delusional woman gets a job at an all-night gas station.
Not probably the best thing to do.
It's got Emily Tennant in it and Brendan Fletcher. It sounds good. You know what it kind of reminds me though? It sounds like the first story in the anthology Body Bags with John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoyed, so it could be really good. I don't think there's enough here for me to make a decision on it, but it's on my radar. I'm adding it to my list.
It might hit a little close to home for me, being an all-night 24-hour gas station, and I would say if you are paranoid, that's not the job you should take.
And Felix, Raiders AK's picks were La Lorna, It, and Godzilla. Those are great. Ben Grimm says Climax. Oh, yeah, I have heard about Climax.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about Climax.
I thought that was already out. I know Emma's seen it. But I have heard Climax is good.
Maybe it's not out here.
Yeah, I've heard that one's really good. It says, birth and death are extraordinary experiences. Life is a fleeting pleasure. Young dancers gather in a remote and empty school building to rehearse on a cold and wintry night. The all-night celebration soon turns into a hallucinatory nightmare when they learn that their sangria is laced with LSD.
I hear that they start kind of fucking and killing.
Yeah, it's supposed to go nuts. It's from the same filmmaker that brought us Irreversible, which is really intense.
Yeah.
I've heard good stuff about this one, so hopefully we can see this soon. I think it's supposed to be, if it's not already available, it's going to be available soon.
Yeah.
Chase says Climax is a bit nasty, so my only reservation is I was worried it wasn't going to go horror enough for me, but I like what you guys are saying. That makes me think I'm going to get all the horror.
I wasn't sure until Emma was talking about it if it was kind of a Eyes Wide Shut type movie, but it sounds like it's a little more violent than that, so there we go. All right, well.
And Ben says it was in the list of the most disturbing movies on Bloody Disgusting, so now I'm really stoked to see it.
From the creator of Irreversible, I would say, yeah, it makes sense.
And William saw it at TIFF with his uncle, so did you like it, William? Let us know. And have we seen Clown House? That's the old one, right?
The guy that did, well, all right.
William says it's sick. I also heard there's a movie called Clown NATO that just came out, but I haven't seen that either.
And Big Shark's coming out soon, too.
I don't think that's going to be a horror, but I definitely want to see it. Big Shark is the new one by Tommy Wiseau that he's writing and directing. So, yeah, I think we covered a lot of movies. Hopefully that we introduced you guys to a couple that maybe weren't already on your radar. Thank you guys for introducing us to a couple. We've shared our favorites. Be sure to share your favorites with us if you're watching this later on in the comments below. We would love to hear your picks. Mm-hmm. And yeah, here's to 2019, guys. I think it's going to be a fun year of horror.
It should be. On kaiju proportions, I hope.
Absolutely. Anything else to say?
See what we got. Give it to us, 2019.
See you guys later. Cut!